Chapter 219. Pass. Reward. 10,000 Years Sea Heart Essence. Just as Yi Chunfeng, who was on the verge of collapse, was lying on the ground and gasping for breath, an ancient voice suddenly sounded in his ears. In the next moment, the dark blue energy from the mirror image surged towards Yi Chunfeng, entering his body through his pores. When the 10,000-year sea heart essence entered his body, Yi Chunfeng felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. A bone-chilling cold surged through his blood vessels, forming a thin layer of frost on the surface of his body. At this moment, every breath that Yi Chunfeng exhaled carried a dense cold air, freezing the air in front of him into ice fragments. Gradually, Yi Chunfeng's internal organs and meridians were also frozen. A large amount of cold air spread on the surface of his body, freezing him into an ice sculpture. If not for the fact that he had cultivated his 6 meridians divine shield to the 5th level, and his body was filled with 400,000 kilograms of strength, such a terrifying cold power would have been enough to freeze his body. Yi Chunfeng endured the corrosion of the 10,000-year sea heart essence's cold energy, but the benefits he received were also extremely obvious. The blood and qi that he had burned previously recovered at an extremely fast speed, from 50% to 60%, 70%, 80%. And his own strength was also rapidly increasing. The soul power in his body became denser and denser, and his spiritual beast, the blood dragon, became more and more terrifying. Its body that was hundreds of meters long continued to grow, and the dragon's scales that covered its body also became larger and larger. After experiencing the benefits of the 10,000-year sea heart essence, Yi Chunfeng bitterly endured the pain, forcibly sealing his opened pores to prevent the pure energy from leaking out. He circulated the soul-devouring art over and over again, refining the 10,000-year sea heart essence. Time passed minute by minute. Yi Chunfeng seemed to have forgotten about time, forgot about everything, and devoted himself to the process of refining the 10,000-year sea heart essence. The soul power in his body continued to increase, and the blood dragon's huge body also soared to more than 500 meters long. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to break through to the 5th grade heavenly beast immortal realm, an eye toad the size of a calf appeared. It was covered with disgusting lumps all over its body, and had 8 eyes on its head. The reason why the 8-eyed toad had arrived at the end of the path of ice and snow before the Snake Demon King was because its cultivation time was much shorter than the Snake Demon King's. Correspondingly, the difficulty of the test was also lower than the Snake Demon King's. Relying on its innately gifted physical body, the 8-eyed toad finally reached the end of the path of ice and snow after paying the price of being heavily injured. It saw Yi Chunfeng sealed in a giant block of ice. "It's that brat. He's frozen." When the 8-eyed toad discovered Yi Chunfeng, it immediately thought of the many treasures on his body. Its 8 eyes shone with burning light and killing intent. "Goo!" A powerful sound wave shot out from the 8-eyed toad's mouth. Like a tsunami, it bombarded the frozen body of Yi Chunfeng. It wanted to seize this heaven-sent opportunity to kill Yi Chunfeng and take everything from him. Although the 8-eyed toad was heavily injured and only had 30% of its demonic power left, the ice formed by the 10,000-year sea heart essence was still unable to withstand its attack. The solid ice trembled violently under the attack of the sound wave. Crisscrossing cracks appeared on the surface of the ice, which awakened Yi Chunfeng, who was refining the 10,000-year sea heart essence. Yes, it's that 8-eyed toad. It actually chose this path of ice and snow and reached the end. Yi Chunfeng opened his eyes in the ice. When he saw the calf-sized 8-eyed toad, his face turned gloomy. After 4 days of cultivation, Yi Chunfeng had refined 90% of the 10,000-year sea heart essence. His body had completely adapted to the erosion of the cold air. His soul power was almost overflowing. The power of the blood dragon had also reached its limit. He was about to break through to the 5th grade heavenly beast immortal realm. But at this critical moment, the eight-eyed toad appeared and interrupted his cultivation. Yi Chunfeng had no choice but to stop his breakthrough. He erupted with powerful physical strength and shattered the ice that sealed his body, waiting for an opportunity to strike. What, you want to run? The eight-eyed toad's 8 ferocious eyes locked onto Yi Chunfeng. It opened its bloody mouth and stuck out its long tongue as it spoke in a deep voice. Although the eight-eyed toad had paid a great price to reach the end of the path of ice and snow, and its body was heavily injured, it did not know how terrifying Yi Chunfeng was. In addition, Yi Chunfeng could not summon the sword puppet on the path of ice and snow. This was the best opportunity to kill him. Once it killed Yi Chunfeng and obtained his great fortune, the eight-eyed toad was confident that it could undergo the terrifying lightning tribulation and become an existence like the Black Tortoise King. Did I say I wanted to run? Yi Chunfeng's sharp senses told him that the eight-eyed toad was heavily injured and that he had a chance to kill it. He immediately changed his mind and summoned the gigantic fault heavenly sword. He was filled with killing intent. Ha! As Yi Chunfeng roared, 400,000 jin of force erupted from his body. The powerful force instantly cracked the ground beneath his feet. A blood dragon that was over 500 meters long emerged from his body and roared at the eight-eyed toad. Sensing Yi Chunfeng's powerful aura, the eight-eyed toad's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. It was surprised by Yi Chunfeng's terrifying aura. However, when it thought of Yi Chunfeng's many treasures and the fact that it could only use 30% of its strength after being heavily injured by the puppet on the path of ice and snow, the eight-eyed toad did not retreat. Its huge body suddenly expanded and a powerful sound wave gushed out from its mouth. It swept towards Yi Chunfeng like a dragon. Complete sword aura break. Yi Chunfeng did not dodge the sound wave attack released by the eight-eyed toad. Complete sword aura gushed out from his body and merged with the titanic fault heavenly sword as he met the attack head-on. Swish! An ear-piercing sound of friction resounded. The titanic fault heavenly sword that was filled with 400,000 jin of force tore apart the sound wave released by the eight-eyed toad like a hot knife through butter. It approached the eight-eyed toad at an extremely fast speed. How is this possible? How can his attack power be so terrifying? The eight-eyed toad had never fought with Yi Chunfeng before. It did not know that his attack power surpassed the ordinary mystic beast sect expert. When it discovered that its sound wave attack was torn apart by Yi Chunfeng's sword, it reacted instinctively. Its huge body suddenly leaped into the air. Cloud-shattering palm. The moment the eight-eyed toad dodged, Yi Chunfeng's narrowed eyes locked onto it. The palm that was filled with 400,000 jin of force fiercely slammed forward and landed on the soft belly of the eight-eyed toad. A single palm strike sent the eight-eyed toad flying. Its huge body fell several hundred meters away and created a huge crater on the ground, aggravating its injuries. Swish! An afterimage flashed past. Yi Chunfeng used Shifting Phantom and approached the eight-eyed toad that had jumped out of the crater with extreme speed. Its injuries were getting worse and worse. Eight-eyed attack. As Yi Chunfeng approached, the eight-eyed toad's 8 hideous eyes shot out extremely thin beams of light towards Yi Chunfeng. It wanted to force him back. However, the eight-eyed toad was too heavily injured. Its sharpest killing move could only display about 20% of its peak strength. It was not a threat to Yi Chunfeng at all. Instant kill sword. Yi Chunfeng's body suddenly accelerated. He merged with the titanic fault heavenly sword and slashed out a light shadow that was as fast as lightning. The sword aura was compressed to the extreme. The incomparably sharp sword light shattered the beams of light that shot out from the eight-eyed toad's 8 eyes. The eight-eyed toad was blinded in one of its eyes, causing it to howl in pain. Demonic core ignition. With one of its eyes blinded, the eight-eyed toad knew that it had underestimated Yi Chunfeng. In order to survive, it did not hesitate to burn its demonic core. This was its last chance. Boom! A powerful demonic energy exploded within its body, causing the cold air to tremble violently. 7 Swords of Judgment, Extreme Frost. The moment the eight-eyed toad burned its demonic core, Yi Qinfeng's sword aura gushed out from his body and started to derive the power of the great Tao. The terrifying extreme frost sword aura swept up a vast and unparalleled force. It tore apart the space of the path of ice and snow and attacked the eight-eyed toad. The sword pierced through the eight-eyed toad's defense and sank into its body. How is this possible? How can his attack be so powerful? Chapter 220. 11 Demonic Crystal Bones. When Yi Qinfeng collected the monster core of the eight-eyed toad, he unexpectedly found 11 demonic crystal bones of different sizes in its body. Collect. With a thought, Yi Qinfeng collected the 11 demonic crystal bones into his cosmos bag. He then leaped into the air and flew into the slowly rotating black hole, disappearing from the path of ice and snow. What a majestic stone forest! After flying out of the path of ice and snow, Yi Qinfeng found himself in a towering stone forest that was dozens of meters tall. Wisps of mist slowly flowed through the stone forest, adding a bit of an immortal aura. Sword puppet, protect me! Yi Qinfeng didn't trespass into this dangerous stone forest. He sat cross-legged at the edge of the stone forest and continued to refine the remaining sea heart essence in his body to break through to the level 5 heavenly beast immortal realm. Although he was disturbed by the eight-eyed toad when he just broke through, Yi Qinfeng's cultivation foundation was extremely solid and wasn't affected in the slightest. About 6 hours later, an extremely penetrating dragon's roar resounded in Yi Qinfeng's body. The 600-meter-long blood dragon emerged from Yi Qinfeng's body and roared into the void. Phew, I've finally broken through to the level 5 heavenly beast immortal realm. After refining the 10,000-year-old sea heart origin, Yi Qinfeng made a breakthrough in his cultivation in the most perfect state. His spiritual beast, the blood dragon, became even more terrifying. After breaking through, Yi Qinfeng didn't waste any more time. Together with the sword puppet, he walked into the endless stone forest. It's so quiet. After entering the stone forest, Yi Qinfeng found that there wasn't any movement in the stone forest. It was so quiet that it was frightening. Yi Qinfeng followed the winding path in the stone forest. After walking for about an hour, he found a huge stone cliff in the middle of the stone forest. On the cliff, there was an aqua-blue longsword, a pitch-black broadsword, and a 9-foot 9-inch-long silver spear. Top-grade earthly weapons. There are actually 3 top-grade earthly weapons on this cliff. Yi Qinfeng was pleasantly surprised when he sensed the grade of the sword, spear, and blade. Supreme-grade earth tools were extremely precious in the outside world. Even a level 5 mystic beast sect expert like the sword demon did not have one. If it were to be circulated in the outside world, it would be enough to cause all the major forces to go crazy over it. Sword puppet, end this quickly. Yi Qinfeng sent a telepathic message. He summoned a 600-meter-long blood dragon and charged forward with the gigantic fault heavenly sword. Chi. When Yi Qinfeng's gigantic fault celestial sword and the sword puppet's spear collided, there was an ear-piercing sound of friction, and a large amount of sparks bloomed in the air. What a powerful strength! After breaking through to the level 5 heavenly beast immortal realm, Yi Qinfeng's physical strength was close to 450,000 pounds. But when he faced the golden puppet's spear head-on, he felt his arm go numb, and his whole body uncontrollably took a step back. Although the sword puppet relied on its powerful attack to suppress the golden puppet in an instant, the golden puppet's defense was extremely terrifying, and the sword puppet could not break it in a short time. Roar! Just when Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet were fighting fiercely with the 2 golden puppets in the center of the stone forest, an angry roar was heard from the periphery of the stone forest. Black Tortoise King. He actually broke through those 3 paths. Hearing the Black Tortoise King's angry roar, Yi Qinfeng's face changed slightly, and a dignified look appeared on his face. although it was almost impossible for the Black Tortoise King to kill him with the sword puppet's protection. If the Black Tortoise King appeared here, then the difficulty of obtaining those 3 treasures would be greatly increased. Golden Rock Wings. The appearance of the Black Tortoise King completely disrupted Yi Chunfeng's plan. As a last resort, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Golden Rock Wings, setting off a hurricane. He wanted to break through the Golden Puppet's attack and forcibly seize the 3 supreme-grade Earth Tools. However, the Golden Puppet's attack was too terrifying, and the revolving spear lights completely enveloped him, not giving him a chance to break through. Sword Puppet, quickly seize those 3 supreme-grade Earth Tools. Yi Chunfeng was forced back by the fierce attack of the Golden Puppet, and immediately gave the order to the Sword Puppet. After receiving the order, the Sword Puppet decisively gave up its attack, and faced the Golden Puppet's attack head-on, approaching the treasure cliff. At this time, the Black Tortoise King, who heard the sound of the battle, was like a small moving hill, crushing the stone pillars one after another, and quickly rushed over. Yi Chunfeng, I finally caught up to you. When the Black Tortoise King passed through the dust and appeared in the center of the stone forest, it saw Yi Chunfeng at first glance. Its round eyes shot out a thick murderous intent, and it ferociously roared. Buzz! The Black Tortoise King was just about to launch an attack at Yi Chunfeng, but the Sword Puppet leaped into the air and grabbed the aqua-blue longsword, and forcefully pulled it out from the treasure cliff. For a moment, the air was filled with the ear-piercing sound of the sword, and it immediately attracted the Black Tortoise King's attention. Supreme-grade Earth Tool. Feeling the power contained in the sword, spear, and blade, the Black Tortoise King's round eyes shot out a burning light. It decisively gave up attacking Yi Chunfeng, and its huge body quickly rushed towards the treasure cliff. Swoosh! The Golden Puppet, who was about to give chase, saw the Black Tortoise King rushing over, and a powerful force erupted from its body. It thrust out a golden spear light at an extremely fast speed. Die for this, King! Facing the Golden Puppet's attack, the Black Tortoise King let out an angry roar. 2 heavy axes that weighed over 10,000 jin flew out of its mouth, smashing the Golden Puppet's spear light like breaking a dead branch, and heavily smashing into its body. Although the Golden Puppet's defense was terrifying, the Black Tortoise King was after all a level 4 heavenly beast, and with its innate talent, its explosive attack power was over 1,000,000 jin. Pung! The Golden Puppet was struck by the powerful double axes, and its entire body was split open. A magic crystal bone fell from its split body onto the ground. The Black Tortoise King relied on its absolute power to instantly kill one of the Golden Puppet. The other Golden Puppet gave up attacking Yi Chunfeng, and attacked with its long spear. Roar! The Black Turtle King angrily roared, a powerful demonic power gushed out from his mouth, and bombarded the golden-armored puppet's body at close range. It shattered the golden armor on its body, and sent it flying. Its solid body exploded in midair, and a fist-sized magic crystal bone fell from the sky. Swoosh! The sword puppet seized the opportunity when the Black Tortoise King was killing the 2 golden puppets, and quickly moved around the treasure cliff, grabbing the large black blade not far from it, pulling it out with all its might. Roar! Seeing the sword puppet snatch away the 2 high-grade earth weapons, the Black Tortoise King was completely enraged, and a powerful sound wave burst out from its mouth, shattering the solid treasure cliff and causing the sword puppet to fall from it. Sword Puppet, come back! There were not many mid-grade soul crystals left, and Yi Chunfeng did not want to continue fighting. He decisively gave up on the last high-grade earth weapon, and summoned the sword puppet back. Let's go. Chapter 221. Lowly brat, where do you think you're going? The Black Tortoise King swallowed the extreme-grade earth-ranked silver spear into its stomach. It shattered the tall treasure cliff and quickly chased after Yi Chunfeng, who was flying at high speed. Besides the 2 golden-armored puppets guarding the treasure cliff, there were no other dangers in this stone forest. Yi Chunfeng quickly flapped his golden rock wings and flew for more than 2 hours before reaching the end of the stone forest. Spatial black hole. Seeing a black hole appear at the end of the stone forest, Yi Chunfeng didn't even think about it. He directly flew into the black hole and disappeared into the chaotic stone forest. Not long after Yi Chunfeng flew into the black hole, the Black Turtle King chased after him and also flew into the black hole. There are 2 more paths. Yi Chunfeng passed through the black hole and entered an ancient hall. He discovered that there were 2 paths in the hall that led to an unknown place. They were filled with the power of thunder and fire. If you enter the path of thunder and fire, there is a 40% chance of dying. Give up and you will be rewarded. Just as Yi Chunfeng slowly walked over, he saw a stone tablet in the middle of the path of thunder and fire. There were several lines of words written on the stone tablet. Which path should I choose? Yi Chunfeng looked at the path of thunder and fire and hesitated. Phew, let's try the path of fire. Yi Chunfeng guessed that the Black Turtle King, who had survived the thunder tribulation, would most likely choose the path of thunder. Thus, he had no choice but to enter the path of fire and try not to fight the Black Turtle King. What a high temperature! After entering the path of fire, Yi Chunfeng immediately lost contact with the sword puppet. He discovered that the 2 sides of the path were burning with flames. The high temperature burned his skin, and a large amount of fire energy entered his body through his pores, as if it wanted to melt him. Primal Chaos Divine Wood, devour. The Primal Chaos Divine Wood could devour all energy. Feeling more and more fire energy entering his body, Yi Chunfeng quickly controlled the parasitic Primal Chaos Divine Wood to devour the fire energy in his body. With the Primal Chaos Divine Wood devouring him, the pressure on Yi Chunfeng was greatly reduced. His body flashed and he quickly rushed towards the end of the path of flames. What is that? Yi Chunfeng moved quickly for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. Suddenly, he felt a huge pressure above his head. A meteor with a long flaming tail cut through the scorching space and locked onto Yi Chunfeng, falling towards him at an extremely fast speed. Blood Dragon Fusion, 450,000 gene of strength. Unable to dodge, Yi Chunfeng decisively fused with the Blood Dragon's power and unleashed a terrifying power. He held the gigantic Fault Celestial Sword and charged forward. Rumble! When Yi Chunfeng's sword strike, which was filled with 450,000 gene of force, struck the flame meteor, it was as if it had struck an indestructible piece of black iron. A powerful explosive force resounded on the surface of the flame meteor. The terrifying explosive power went through the sword and into Yi Chunfeng's arm. Blood gushed out of his arm, and he couldn't stop backing away. Blood gushed out uncontrollably. Perfect sword presence. Yi Chunfeng's body was pushed back by the flame meteor. He yelled out, and the perfect sword presence gushed out of his body and fused into the gigantic Fault Celestial Sword. It kept increasing the attacking power of the gigantic Fault Celestial Sword as he attacked this flame meteor with all his strength. Kacha, kacha! When Yi Chunfeng used all his strength to repel the flame meteor, there were cracking sounds. The flame meteor was attacked by the perfect sword presence and 450,000 gene of force. The surface of the flame meteor finally cracked. Break! Yi Chunfeng used all his strength in one go. He gripped the gigantic Fault Celestial Sword tightly and pierced through the flame meteor, shattering it. Huff, huff! The power of this flame meteor is too terrifying. Although he had shattered the flame meteor, Yi Chunfeng's arms were bleeding from the impact of the flame meteor. His blood was boiling, and he had used up a lot of his strength. It seems that with my current strength, it won't be easy to pass through this path of flames. Sensing the difficulty of this path of flames, Yi Chunfeng hesitated for a moment before taking out a fist-sized devil crystal bone. He was prepared to refine this devil crystal bone on this path of flames, tempering his bones and increasing his strength. If he could cultivate his bone-forging realm to the perfect realm, Then his physical strength would reach 350,000 jin of force. That would be enough to deal with the various dangers of this path of flames. Why is the devil chi within this devil crystal bone so weak? When Yi Chunfeng released the devil chi within the devil crystal bone, he was surprised to find that the devil chi within it was extremely weak. It wasn't enough to pose any threat to him, so it was easily devoured by the God-Eater brain. Soul-devouring art devour. After the God-Eater brain devoured the devil chi, Yi Chunfeng immediately circulated the soul-devouring art to devour the pure energy within the devil crystal bone. The devil crystal bone that Yi Chunfeng had refined was the size of a fist. The energy it contained far surpassed the devil crystal bone that Emoyuan had given him. As a large amount of pure energy entered his body, Yi Chunfeng clenched his teeth and endured the pain. Bit by bit, this energy passed through his flesh and blood, forcibly suppressing it into his bones and tempering them. Why is the devil crystal bone's body tempering effect so much worse than before? Yi Chunfeng clenched his teeth. When he fully focused on tempering his body, he found that the devil crystal bone's body tempering effect was far worse than the previous 2 times. Could it be that my body has developed antibodies to the devil crystal bone? Thinking of this possibility, Yi Chunfeng's mind rapidly spun as he tried to think of a solution. He really couldn't waste too much time on this path of flames. If the Xian Turtle King rushed out of the path of lightning ahead of time, he would lose the initiative and fall into a passive state. Lightning can increase body tempering speed. I wonder if flames can do the same? Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and decided to take a risk. He controlled the primal chaos divine wood to stop devouring the devil crystal bone. He circulated the 6 meridian divine shield, slowly suppressing the flame energy invading his body into his bones. Every time he forced a trace of flame energy into his bones, Yi Chunfeng would have to endure the pain of his body burning. Although the pain was unbearable, the effect was very clear. After confirming that the flame energy really could increase the speed of tempering his bones, Yi Chunfeng relied on his tenacious and unyielding heart to bitterly persevere, enduring the torment of the flame tempering his body. Time passed bit by bit amidst the immense pain. Bone forging 70%, 80%, 90%. Yi Chunfeng bitterly tempered himself for over 12 hours on the path of flames, completely fusing the fist-sized devil crystal bone into his bones. His physical strength had risen to 500,000 genes. After refining the first devil crystal bone, Yi Chunfeng didn't stop. He immediately took out the last fist-sized devil crystal bone, swallowed the demonic energy, and continued to refine it. By the time Yi Chunfeng had refined the majority of the energy contained within the devil crystal bone, he had finally tempered his entire body to perfection. Each bone sparkled like a crystal, and his physical strength had risen once more. Bones like crystal, indestructible. This is the display of the great circle of the bone-forging realm. Feeling the changes in his bones as well as his physical strength that had risen to 550,000 genes, Yi Chunfeng let out a long sigh of relief. He punched out into the scorching void. Rumble! With this punch, his strength was compressed to the limit, and it blew apart the layers of flames, smashing apart a fiery red boulder not too far away. With my current physical strength, I should be able to easily shatter that flame meteor. Now that he had reached the great circle of the bone-forging realm, Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any more time. He summoned the golden rock wings and set off waves of heat as he quickly flew towards the end of the path of flames. Chapter 222. Instant Kill Sword. Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank as his body fused with the titanic fault celestial sword. Like a flash of lightning, the sword pierced towards the falling meteor. Rumble! The meteor was struck by Yi Chunfeng's sword, which was filled with 350,000 pounds of force, and the huge meteor started to tremble. The terrifying sword aura directly pierced through the meteor and shattered it. Relying on his absolute strength to shatter the meteor, Yi Chunfeng did not stop. He quickly flapped his golden rock wings, passed through the endless sea of fire, and flew towards the depths of the Road of Flames. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to challenge the Road of Flames, a black-robed man with turbid but powerful eyes appeared on the Road of Flames. He exuded a murderous aura from head to toe. This man was the sword demon who wanted to assassinate Yi Chunfeng. Lava! Yi Chunfeng continued to fly at high speed. After shattering more than 10 meteors, the scene in front of him changed. The endless sea of flames disappeared, and in its place was a sea of slowly flowing dark red lava that emitted a scorching heat and had a large number of bubbles. A winding, 1-meter-wide rocky path led to the end of the magma. Feeling the heat of the lava, Yi Chunfeng did not doubt that if he fell in, his body would melt instantly. In order to conserve energy and deal with any danger that might appear at any time, Yi Chunfeng withdrew his golden rock wings and stepped onto the hot rocky road with the titanic fault celestial sword in his hand. Boom! The moment Yi Chunfeng stepped onto the rocky road, a huge explosion sounded in the fiery red sky. The terrifying aura suppressed the lava and set off huge waves. The terrifying heat wave covered the sky and swept towards Yi Chunfeng. In the next moment, a meteor with a diameter of 1.5 miles, burning with purple flames on its surface, broke through the fiery red sky and crashed towards Yi Chunfeng with the weight of Mount Tai. Seeing this huge meteor, Yi Chunfeng's expression changed. Without thinking, he immediately used shape-shifting phantom and created 9 shadows. He wanted to use his speed to dodge this destructive attack. However, Yi Chunfeng's body was affected by the pressure of the meteor. His movement speed was greatly reduced, and he could not completely dodge the meteor's attack. He could only use his powerful strength to take it head-on. Yi Chunfeng held the titanic fault celestial sword tightly with both hands and stabbed towards the meteor that was descending from the sky. 350,000 pounds of force and the complete sword aura on the surface of the titanic fault celestial sword kept increasing the power of the sword. Rumble! When the titanic fault celestial sword hit the meteor that was 3 miles in diameter, a powerful explosive force appeared on the surface of the meteor. A large number of cracks appeared on the meteor. An endless amount of scorching energy gushed out from the meteor, instantly engulfing Yi Chunfeng. In an instant, Yi Chunfeng's body was heavily injured. The surging hot energy crazily poured into his body, shaking his internal organs and burning his skin. If it were not for the primal chaos divine wood suppressing the surging hot energy, this heat would have been enough to melt him. 350,000 pounds of force, break for me. Enduring the destructive heat of the meteor, Yi Chunfeng gritted his teeth and continued to explode with his powerful physical strength, quickly breaking apart this huge meteor. After about an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng finally broke this meteor. Surging heat waves spread out in the air. Huff, huff, this meteor's power is too terrifying. If I had not reached the complete realm of the bone-forging realm, I would not have been able to break it with just my physical strength. Yi Chunfeng quickly tossed a spirit-grade soul core into his mouth as he muttered to himself with lingering fear in his heart. After more than an hour, Yi Chunfeng had basically recovered from his physical injuries. His body suddenly accelerated, rapidly flying on the winding rocky path. Soon, a second huge meteor fell from the sky, carrying a destructive power as it bombarded his body. Just as Yi Chunfeng relied on his powerful physical strength to break one huge meteor after another, the sword demon relied on his powerful attack power to break one meteor after another. He also stepped onto this winding stone path above the lava. Huff, I can finally see the end of the lava. Yi Chunfeng used all his strength to break 8 huge meteors. Finally, he saw the end of the lava. He decisively summoned the golden rock wings and flew through the layers of heat waves. Bang, bang, bang. As Yi Chunfeng quickly approached the end of the lava, a large fireball flew out of the lava and shot towards Yi Chunfeng. Although these large fireballs were small in size, the power they contained was extremely terrifying. Before they even hit Yi Chunfeng's body, they already gave him a great sense of pressure. 7 Sword of Judgment, Extreme Cold. Seeing the large fireballs about to hit Yi Chunfeng's body, he decisively controlled his perfect sword aura and deduced the power of the Great Tao. He slashed out with his strongest move, the Extreme Cold Sword Beam. It tore through the scorching space and shattered the large fireballs that were flying towards him. Whoosh! The Extreme Cold Sword Beam cleaved through a large number of fireballs. Yi Chunfeng seized the opportunity and suddenly accelerated, turning into an afterimage as he passed through the lava region at an extremely fast speed. He appeared on a straight path that did not seem to pose any threat. Huff, huff, I've finally made it out. Yi Chunfeng retracted his golden rock wings and placed his hands on his knees as he panted heavily. I don't know what dangers await me on this path of flames. Yi Chunfeng observed the seemingly harmless path that led into the distance. He did not barge in recklessly. Instead, he quickly sat cross-legged on the ground and consumed 3 spirit tier soul elixirs to regulate his breathing and recover. Time passed by slowly. Under the nourishment of the 3 spirit tier soul elixirs, Yi Chunfeng's injuries were quickly recovering. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to fully recover from his injuries and expended soul power, his sharp senses suddenly detected a powerful and dangerous aura behind him. He immediately opened his eyes. Sword Demon, he actually caught up to me. Yi Chunfeng saw the Sword Demon running towards him at an extremely fast speed from afar. His expression changed slightly as he decisively summoned his golden rock wings and flew straight into the distance. Once the Sword Demon caught up to him, without the protection of the sword puppet, he would be doomed. Yi Chunfeng, where do you think you're going? The Sword Demon's deep eyes emitted a dense killing intent. His entire body fused with the long sword in his hand and burst out with astonishing attack power. He shattered the incoming fireballs and chased after Yi Chunfeng with all his might. Rumble! Just as the Sword Demon rushed out of the lava region and chased after Yi Chunfeng without caring about his injuries, the lava behind them suddenly became restless. An earth-shattering wave of lava swept towards them. Not good! The Sword Demon saw the rapidly approaching lava wave, and his heart trembled. Without thinking, he decisively burned his blood essence and used the blood escape, which was extremely damaging to his body. Chapter 223. How can this magma wave be so fast? Yi Chunfeng sensed a strong threat of death as the magma wave, which was filled with scorching heat and destructive power, approached him like a tsunami. He did not hesitate at all. If he was swept into this rapidly surging wave of magma, he would be crushed and killed instantly by the destructive power that filled it. Sword Demon, who was burning his vitality and using blood escape, was under even greater pressure. The high temperature released by the magma wave made his skin hurt, and large amounts of sweat flowed out of his body uncontrollably. At this moment, he felt that the magma wave behind him was like a huge devouring mouth that could devour him at any time. Vitality, continue burning. As death approached, Sword Demon was scared out of his wits. He burned his vitality at all costs and increased the flying speed of blood escape, forcefully widening the distance between him and the magma wave. Collapsing Cloud Palm. Just as Blood Demon, who was burning his vitality and increasing his speed, was gradually catching up to Yi Chunfeng, Yi Chunfeng suddenly unleashed a powerful physical strength and threw a collapsing cloud palm at Sword Demon. He wanted to force Sword Demon to retreat and let the magma wave swallow him. Yi Chunfeng, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not human. Sword Demon quickly dodged and narrowly dodged the collapsing cloud palm with a force of 250,000 jin. He looked at Yi Chunfeng's fleeing figure and roared loudly. Although Yi Chunfeng's collapsing cloud palm did not hit Sword Demon, his soaring speed was greatly affected. Once again, the giant wave of lava closed the distance between them, forcing him to continue burning his blood and qi to increase his blood escape speed. Burning his vitality at such a high intensity greatly damaged Sword Demon's body and affected his strength. If he continued to burn his vitality, it would cause irreparable damage to his body. However, Sword Demon knew that he had no choice but to escape from the magma wave that was getting closer and closer. If he did not use blood escape, then he would be doomed. Yi Chunfeng, I will kill you and take everything from you to make up for my lost vitality. Sword Demon gritted his teeth and swore in his heart. With his keen perception, Yi Chunfeng sensed that Sword Demon, who was burning his vitality and executing blood escape, had caught up to him once more. He continued to send out cloud collapsing palms, sealing off the space in front of Sword Demon and slowing down his escape. Demon killing sword break! When Sword Demon saw Yi Chunfeng's collapsing cloud palm sealing off the space in front of him, he hastily executed his ultimate move, slashing at the incoming attack. Boom boom boom! The collapsing cloud palm, which contained a force of 400,000 jin, was shattered by the demon killing sword. It immediately released a powerful explosive force, attacking the Sword Demon's body at close range, aggravating his injuries. A stream of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. As his injuries worsened, Sword Demon didn't dare to slow down. He continued to burn his blood qi and used blood escape to escape. Sword Demon, let's see how long you can last. With his keen perception, Yi Chunfeng sensed that the blood qi in Sword Demon's body was very chaotic. He immediately guessed that Sword Demon had suffered serious injuries while crossing the path of lava. He took a risk by reducing his speed and continued to send out cloud collapsing palms at Sword Demon. If he could further injure Sword Demon and consume a lot of his blood qi, Sword Demon wouldn't be a threat to him even if he wasn't swallowed by the lava wave. Yi Chunfeng, if I don't kill you, I swear I am not a human. Seeing Yi Chunfeng sending out cloud collapsing palms, Sword Demon, who couldn't dodge, had a drastic change in expression. He roared in exasperation. Boom boom boom. However, being angry was useless. In order to not be swallowed by the lava waves, Sword Demon ignored the injuries on his body and continued to attack, shattering the powerful collapsing palms. When Sword Demon broke the collapsing palms with his absolute attack power, his meridians were damaged. Cracks appeared on the surface of the meridians on his arms, which greatly affected his attack power. Before he had a chance to take a breather, Yi Chunfeng continued to send out cloud collapsing palms and continued to seal the space in front of him. He had no choice but to face the cloud collapsing palms head-on. Sword Demon felt that his injuries were getting worse and worse. The lava waves were getting closer and closer. He knew that he couldn't hide his strength anymore. Otherwise, he would most likely die here. Demon Heart Pellet. Sword Demon made up his mind and took out a pitch-black pellet from his Qiankuan pouch. The pellet was covered with hexagonal patterns and was shrouded with strands of demon qi. He raised his head and swallowed it. In the next moment, a powerful demon qi burst out from his body. Endless demon sound circled around his body. After swallowing the demon heart pellet, Sword Demon not only suppressed his injuries for a short period of time, his strength also reached the peak of 6th grade Mystic Beast Grandmaster. He instantly increased the speed of blood escape. What a powerful demon qi! Feeling the sudden increase in strength of Sword Demon, Yi Chunfeng was shocked. He decisively gave up on attacking Sword Demon and activated his Golden Rock bloodline. He increased his flying speed and flew straight to the end of the road. Although the demon heart pellet had greatly increased Sword Demon's strength, the side effects were equally terrifying. If he couldn't kill Yi Chunfeng in the limited time, then Sword Demon would be in danger again. Qi and blood burn. Sword Demon made up his mind and continued to burn his qi and blood. He increased the speed of blood escape and gradually closed the distance between him and Yi Chunfeng. 1,000 meters, 800 meters, 500 meters, 300 meters, When the sword demon had shaken off the huge wave of lava behind him and closed the distance between them by 50 meters, he decisively attacked. Streaks of sword shadows filled with demonic energy slashed towards Yi Chunfeng like lightning. Suddenly attacked by sword demon, Yi Chunfeng immediately flapped his golden rock wings to dodge. Although he relied on his nimble body to dodge sword demon's attack, his speed was affected. Sword demon once again closed the distance between them. Yi Chunfeng, let's see where you can escape to this time. The sword demon, who was surrounded by demonic energy, stared at Yi Chunfeng, who was just inches away from him. He continuously used powerful soul skills to attack him, wanting to kill him and seize all the treasures on his body. Life Spirit Technique, burn 60 years of lifespan. Sword demon, who had consumed the demon heart pellet, was too much of a threat. Yi Chunfeng didn't dare to be careless. While dodging in midair, he decisively used the Life Spirit Technique and burned 60 years of lifespan to greatly increase his strength. What kind of secret technique is this? It can actually increase one's cultivation by a whole realm. Sword demon revealed a deep shock when he sensed that Yi Chunfeng had instantly increased from a 5th grade Heavenly Beast Immortal to a 5th grade Mystic Beast Grandmaster. I must obtain this secret technique. Sword demon's eyes burned with passion. He once again closed the distance between him and Yi Chunfeng and used all his skills to attack him. Roar. Sword demon's thunderous attack came. A loud dragon's roar resounded. A huge shadow of a blood dragon appeared behind Yi Chunfeng and roared at sword demon. After using the Life Spirit Technique, Yi Chunfeng's physical strength had also soared to 700,000 jin. He had temporarily attained the strength of a level 5 Mystic Beast Grandmaster. Chi. Yi Chunfeng's body flashed and he used the Titanic Fault Heavenly Sword to meet the attack. Crisscrossing perfect sword force and 350,000 pounds of strength, the sword broke sword demon's soul skill and pierced towards sword demon. The sword pierced the sword that sword demon had hurriedly blocked in front of his chest. Following that, a strong rebounding force surged from the surface of the sword and into sword demon's body. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was pushed back, almost falling to the ground. How is this possible? How can his strength be so great? Chapter 224. Instant Kill Sword. After pushing back sword demon with one sword, Yi Chunfeng looked at the incoming wave of lava and launched a fierce attack at sword demon. He wanted to severely injure him and force him into the lava wave. Art of Thunder Kill. Yi Chunfeng thrust out his sword as fast as lightning. A large amount of lightning surged out from sword demon's body and gathered into a lightning sword. It broke through the instant kill sword like a hot knife through butter and forced Yi Chunfeng to retreat. Cloud Break Palm. After the instant kill sword was broken, the golden rock wings on Yi Chunfeng's back flapped violently. He approached sword demon at an extremely fast speed and struck out with his cloud collapsing palm, aiming for sword demon's chest. Bang! The collapsing cloud palm that Yi Chunfeng threw out with his left hand collided with the fist that sword demon had hurriedly blocked. Instantly, a force of more than 700,000 jin exploded, tearing apart the scorching hot air. The overlapping palms of the collapsing cloud palm crushed the might of the sword demon's punch as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. The terrifying power gushed into his left arm and tore the muscles of his left arm. Scarlet blood gushed out from the wound as his entire body was sent flying. Art of Thunder Kill, Myriad Thunder Sword. His left arm was injured by Yi Chunfeng, so sword demon forcefully stabilized his body. His body, which was as imposing as a sharp sword, quickly spun around. Streaks of lightning flew out of his body and transformed into numerous lightning swords. They twisted the space and ruthlessly crushed towards Yi Chunfeng. Blood Dragon Armor. Yi Chunfeng saw that the scorching air was emitting a glaring fire under the attack of the myriad thunder sword. he decisively controlled the blood dragon to form a soul armor. A large amount of blood-red scales covered his entire body. In a split second, Yi Chunfeng threw out 7 sword strike. The sword light with the perfect sword force and 700,000 pounds of force sealed the space in front of him and clashed with the myriad thunder sword. Rumble! A series of powerful explosions rang out as the 2 powerful attacks collided, creating a powerful shockwave that swept out in all directions. It was as if a calamity was coming. With the help of the blood dragon armor, Yi Chunfeng forcibly withstood the impact of the recoil. The perfect sword force gushed out of his body, tearing apart the opposing airflow and thrusting his sword toward the sword demon who was filled with devil chi. Facing Yi Chunfeng's sword attack, sword demon did not dodge. Instead, he stabbed his shining longsword at Yi Chunfeng's chest. 100 crystal cold jade talisman. Yi Chunfeng did not expect the sword demon to want to injure him. He decisively used 100 crystal cold jade talisman to form a layer of cold light around his body, blocking the sword demon's sure-kill attack. The moment Yi Chunfeng used the 100 crystal cold jade talisman, the sword demon also used his life-saving technique. A palm-sized, pitch-black heart protective mirror appeared in front of his chest, blocking the attack of the gigantic fault heavenly sword. In a split second, the gigantic fault heavenly sword, which weighed 10,000 pounds and was filled with 700,000 pounds of force and perfect sword force, pierced the black heart protective mirror. The powerful attack shattered the heart protective mirror, causing a large number of cracks to spread out on the surface of the heart protective mirror. At the same time, the longsword in the sword demon's hand pierced through the light shield formed by the 100 crystal cold jade talisman. Break! The sword demon roared. The devil chi in his body crazily surged into the longsword, instantly increasing the power of the longsword. It pierced through the 100 crystal cold jade talisman, penetrated the blood dragon armor, and pierced towards Yi Chunfeng's heart. Brat, go to hell! The long sword wrapped in demonic chi pierced into Yi Chunfeng's body. The sword demon revealed a sinister smile. He wanted to pierce through Yi Chunfeng's heart meridian in one go and cripple his cultivation, turning him into a cripple. We don't know who will die yet. Instant kill sword. With his chest pierced, Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. Instead, he used the instant kill sword to increase the power of the gigantic fault heavenly sword, shattering the black heart protective mirror. What is in his heart? The black demon ignored his injuries and continued to attack. Suddenly, he sensed a terrifying power in Yi Chunfeng's heart. It blocked his killing sword, preventing him from piercing through Yi Chunfeng's heart. However, the devil chi in the longsword still damaged Yi Chunfeng's organs and meridians, worsening the injuries on Yi Chunfeng's body. At the same time, the gigantic fault heavenly sword had pierced through the black heart protective mirror and reached the sword demon's body. Sensing the horrifying power of Yi Chunfeng's sword, the sword demon's expression changed drastically. He quickly pulled out the longsword from Yi Chunfeng's body and backed off. Shadow Golden Needle Talisman, attack! The moment the sword demon dodged, hundreds of golden needles flashed in front of his eyes and pierced into his head, attacking his soul directly. With his soul being attacked by the Shadow Golden Needle Talisman, the sword demon felt like his head was going to explode. He had a splitting headache, and a huge amount of blood flowed out from his 7 orifices. Die! Seizing this rare opportunity, Yi Chunfeng used all his strength to stab the gigantic fault heavenly sword into Yi Chunfeng's body. The gigantic fault heavenly sword's strength exploded inside Yi Chunfeng's body, blowing a bloody hole in his chest. Devil sound! Seeing that the gigantic fault heavenly sword was about to penetrate Black Demon's body, a huge amount of black devil sound rushed out from his mouth and attacked Yi Chunfeng at close range. The terrifying sound wave was like a heavy hammer as it bombarded Yi Chunfeng's body, injuring his soul and body. It caused his reaction to pause momentarily, allowing the sword demon to narrowly escape the calamity. Just as the two of them were fighting to the point where they were both injured, a terrifying wave of lava swept over. The terrifying aura caused Yi Chunfeng and the other to feel fear. They decisively gave up on attacking the other party, and endured the heavy injuries to their bodies as they quickly fled for their lives. Although the series of exchanges just now were all within the sword demon's careful calculations, he did not expect that Yi Chunfeng's heart vein was protected by the primal chaos divine wood. He also underestimated Yi Chunfeng's means, which led to his injuries being even more severe than Yi Chunfeng's. Devil Chi repair? The gigantic fault heavenly sword had blown a bloody hole in his chest. The sword demon, who was burning his blood, tried his best to control the surging devil chi in his body to repair his body. He tried his best to suppress his injuries and run for his life. Yi Chunfeng, who was severely injured, could not attack the sword demon. He controlled the golden rock wings to fly as fast as he could while drinking the heavenly fate water to heal his injuries. Because the two of them were severely injured, their running speed was greatly reduced. They were getting closer and closer to the lava wave, and the threat of death loomed over them. Golden rock bloodline burn. Yi Chunfeng, who was heavily injured and whose life force was fading away, had no choice but to ignite the golden rock bloodline and increase his speed to the maximum. Soon, he overtook the sword demon, who was at the end of his rope, and flew into the distance. Damn it! Sword demon panicked when he felt the power of the devil heart pill was fading. He continued to burn his blood and chi at all costs to sustain the blood escape art. He followed closely behind Yi Chunfeng. About half an hour later, when Yi Chunfeng and the sword demon were about to run out of energy, they finally saw a towering mountain in front of them. There were 3 black caves at the foot of the mountain. They rushed in without any hesitation. When Yi Chunfeng and the sword demon rushed into different black caves, the lava wave that was chasing after them crashed into the mountain. The powerful force caused the mountain to shake violently. Endless air waves rushed into the caves. PFFF. Yi Chunfeng and the sword demon spurted out blood at the same time. Their bodies were badly mutilated. Chapter 225. Huff huff, I am finally safe. Yi Chunfeng, who was severely injured, lay on the cold and damp ground, panting heavily. Recalling the scene just now, he still had lingering fear in his heart, and he was terrified. After about an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng struggled to get up from the ground. He drank a small mouthful of heavenly fate water and ate an earth-level soul elixir. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, he circulated the soul-devouring art to heal himself. As his injuries were too severe, even with the heavenly fate water, it took him an entire 3 days to heal himself. Taking out a moonstone, he walked towards the end of the dark cave. Is that a fire mantis? When Yi Chunfeng walked out of the pitch-black cave after several hours, he found that the outside of the cave was still a sea of fire. And in the middle of the sea of fire lay a fire mantis with a triangular head and strong and sharp forelimbs. Its entire body was burning with raging flames. Level 3 Heavenly Beast. Sensing the power of the fire mantis, Yi Chunfeng did not dare to act rashly. After all, this fire mantis was equivalent to a level 6 mystic beast sect expert. Its power was far beyond his own. After discovering the fire mantis guarding the path of fire, Yi Chunfeng quickly retreated back into the dark cave. Circulating the soul-devouring art, he concealed his aura and waited patiently for the sword demon to appear. He wanted to use the sword demon to heavily injure the fire mantis and reap the benefit. However, the sword demon's injuries were too severe. He waited until the 5th day before the sword demon's aura appeared at the entrance of the cave. However, the sword demon discovered that the terrifying fire mantis had made the same choice as Yi Chunfeng. It did not attack blindly, but waited patiently at the entrance of the cave for Yi Chunfeng to make a move. As the days passed, Yi Chunfeng and the sword demon hid in their respective caves. Neither of them took the initiative to attack the fire mantis. Just as the two of them waited patiently for the 8th day, Yi Chunfeng gradually lost his patience. He decided to take a gamble. Swish! An ear-piercing sound of air friction rang out. Yi Chunfeng used the shifting phantom technique and rushed towards the fire mantis with extreme speed. Wielding the titanic heavenly sword, he attacked it. You finally can't hold it in anymore. The moment Yi Chunfeng attacked, the pale sword demon opened his eyes and stared at Yi Chunfeng's silhouette with a devilish look on his face. His blood and chi were severely depleted, and his face was pale. Hiss hiss! The sleeping fire mantis was awakened by the sudden approach of Yi Chunfeng. It immediately roared angrily at him. Under its control, endless waves of fire swept toward Yi Chunfeng like an avalanche. Break! Yi Chun roared and slashed down with his gigantic fault heavenly sword. The extremely sharp sword light cut through the sea of fire and slashed towards the fire mantis's huge body. Chi! The fire mantis's tough body was struck by the gigantic K heavenly sword, and a shallow sword mark appeared on its body. Although this sword mark was insignificant to the fire mantis, it was still enraged. Buzz buzz! The fire mantis flapped its fiery red wings and attacked Yi Chunfeng with extreme speed. When its sharp forelimbs struck the titanic heavenly sword, a powerful force passed through the sword and into Yi Chunfeng's arms, injuring them. His body was also sent flying by this terrifying force. A mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. Humph! You overestimate yourself. When Sword Demon saw Yi Chunfeng being sent flying by the fire mantis's terrifying forelimbs, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly, revealing a cold smile. He was watching the show with great interest. After sending Yi Chunfeng flying, the fire mantis followed up with another attack. Its sharp forelimbs continuously attacked Yi Chunfeng, forcing Yi Chunfeng to use the shifting phantom technique to evade the attack. He slowly approached the cave where the sword demon was hiding. Seeing Yi Chunfeng slowly approaching him, the sword demon frowned slightly. He felt that something was wrong. Just as he was about to enter the cave to hide, the fire mantis' sharp forelimbs once again struck the gigantic fault heavenly sword that Yi Chunfeng hurriedly blocked. Yi Chunfeng's entire body was like a kite with a broken string, falling towards the sword demon. This is my chance. Seeing Yi Chunfeng spitting out blood and falling towards him, the sword demon's eyes were filled with killing intent. He decided to jump out of the cave and deal a fatal blow to Yi Chunfeng. He wanted to end his life and take everything from him. Shadow Golden Needle Talisman, attack! When the sword demon attacked, Yi Chunfeng shot out 3 Shadow Golden Needle Talismans that he had prepared beforehand and attacked the sword demon's soul. Not good! Looking at the golden light that flashed before his eyes, the sword demon's heart skipped a beat. He instinctively wanted to dodge. However, the thousands of golden needles transformed from the 3 shadow-transforming golden needle talismans were way too fast. Within a blink of an eye, the golden needles had pierced into his soul, riddling it with holes and severely damaging his soul, causing his mind to go blank for a short moment. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the golden rock wings and stabilized his body. He flew into the cave where the sword demon was and appeared behind him, blocking his way. When the sword demon came to his senses, he was horrified to find that the ferocious fire mantis had appeared in front of him. It was waving its sharp forelimbs and attacking him. Damn it, I've been tricked. Realizing that Yi Chunfeng had appeared behind him and he had become the target of the fire mantis, the sword demon's lungs were about to explode. However, the fire mantis was too much of a threat to him. He had no choice but to wave his long sword to block the attack of the fire mantis's sharp forelimbs. Thump! Thump! After taking the fire mantis's attack head-on, the sword demon's arm went numb as he was severely depleted of his chi and blood. He took 2 steps back. While he was taking a step back, his sharp senses detected a strong sense of danger behind him. Obviously, Yi Chunfeng was not going to give him a chance to retreat and was waiting for an opportunity to attack him. Demon Killing Sword. Caught between a rock and a hard place, the fire mantis attacked again, forcing the sword demon to attack with all his strength. The long sword in his hand surged with endless demonic chi. The sharp sword light slashed across the space and created a gully, slashing towards the terrifying fire mantis. The sword demon was a level 5 mystic beast sect expert. His attack power was far beyond Yi Qinfeng's. A deep sword wound appeared on the fire mantis's body as a large amount of dark green blood flowed out from it. Chi with its body injured, the fire mantis's attack became even more ferocious. It continuously attacked the sword demon. The tide-like attacks made the sword demon feel suffocated as he kept retreating. Shadow transforming golden needle talisman, attack. Just when the sword demon couldn't withstand the fire mantis's ferocious attacks and wanted to forcefully break through Yi Qinfeng's defense, Yi Qinfeng used another shadow-transforming golden needle talisman to attack the sword demon's soul. The sword demon's soul was continuously attacked, and it was in so much pain that it screamed in pain. Its reaction speed slowed down, and it was struck by the fire mantis's sharp forelimbs. The sword demon's defense was broken, and its body was almost split into two. Collapsing cloud palm. The sword demon's heavily injured body flew back. Yi Qinfeng immediately printed a powerful collapsing cloud palm on the sword demon's back. At the same time, the sword demon's injuries were aggravated, and he was pushed towards the ferocious fire mantis like a rubber ball. No! Looking at the fire mantis that was getting closer and closer, the sword demon let out a desperate roar. He used all his strength to attack the fire mantis, trying to force it to retreat. Kill! The sword demon let out a furious roar. He slashed the fire mantis's slender neck with his sword that was filled with the power of death, severely injuring the fire mantis. After being severely injured, the fire mantis didn't retreat. Instead, it waved its sharp forelimbs and slashed the sword demon's heavily injured body, chopping off his shoulders and arms. Ah! Yi Qinfeng, go to hell with me! The sword demon let out a desperate roar as both of his shoulders were chopped off by the fire mantis. He forcefully ignited the terrifying power of qi and blood and rushed towards Yi Qinfeng, whose expression changed greatly. Chapter 226. Not good. Yi Qinfeng's expression changed drastically when he saw the sword demon, whose eyes were bloodshot and surging with blood qi, charging towards him at an extremely fast speed. While summoning the golden rock wings, he continuously sent out cloud collapsing palms towards the armless sword demon, not giving him a chance to get close. After being hit by the collapsing cloud palm, the sword demon's body trembled and flew toward the fire mantis that was chasing closely. When it got close to the fire mantis, the blood qi that was spewing out from its body exploded. Rumble! A terrifying destructive force exploded from its body like a surging tide, sweeping out in all directions. The entire cave was filled with cracks, and large pieces of rocks fell down. The fire mantis that was closest to the sword demon was the first to be hit. Its huge body was sent flying, and the injury on its neck was even more serious. Its huge body was badly mutilated. Yi Qinfeng, who had summoned the golden rock wings earlier, had escaped the disaster. The golden rock wings had neutralized all the aftershocks of the sword demon's self-destruction. Life Spirit Technique, 60 years of lifespan burning. After killing the sword demon with the help of the fire mantis, Yi Qinfeng decisively burned 60 years of his lifespan. The powerful life force merged into his body, pushing his strength to rise steadily. Soon, he advanced by a large realm and reached the level 5 Mystic Beast Grandmaster realm. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng quickly flapped the golden rock wings, shattering the falling rocks. He launched an attack on the severely injured fire mantis, wanting to kill it in one go. Although the fire mantis was terrifying, the sword demon's attack before its death was even more terrifying. The force of its self-destruction had severely injured the fire mantis body, causing it to be severely injured and its attack power to be greatly reduced. Wind Shadow Slash. Yi Chunfeng roared, and a sword ray that was like a crescent moon slashed down horizontally. It carried a powerful destructive force and slashed the bloody body of the fire mantis. The force of more than 700,000 pounds destroyed the fire mantis body. It was so painful that the fire mantis hissed and waved its sharp forelimbs crazily, interrupting Yi Chunfeng's continuous attacks and forcing him to retreat. Sword force. This fire mantis can actually use sword force. As the fire-praying mantis attacked crazily, it sent out an incredible saber force. The saber force was very ferocious, like an unceasing torrent of endless waves. Saber after saber slashed at Yi Chunfeng. The fire-praying mantis attacked ferociously. Yi Chunfeng did not dodge the attack. Instead, he met it with all his might. Sword instant kill. Yi Chunfeng's body became one with the gigantic fault heavenly sword. He turned into a lightning-fast sword ray and pierced towards the incoming saber shadow. When Yi Chunfeng used all his strength to stab at the fire mantis's blade shadows, he felt as if he was stabbing into a raging sea. The terrifying vibrations continued to flow through the gigantic fault heavenly sword into his arm, causing his arm to tremble. He almost lost his grip on the gigantic fault heavenly sword. 700,000 pounds force explode. The injury on his arm continued to worsen, but Yi Chunfeng did not slow down his attacks. He let out a roar and unleashed a force of 350,000 kilograms, forcefully dispersing the saber force that had entered his arm. Then, he stabbed towards the fire mantis. Tisk! The gigantic sword force with 700,000 pounds force and sword force broke through the sword force and stabbed the fire mantis' sharp forelimb. The powerful force forced the fire mantis to retreat. Sensing the threat that Yi Chunfeng posed to it, the fire mantis also began to fight with all its might. When Yi Chunfeng attacked with all his might, its huge body suddenly burst into flames. An endless amount of life flames surged out of its body and engulfed Yi Chunfeng. The temperature was so high that it instantly melted the blood dragon's soul armor. Yi Chunfeng's body was charred black, and the life flames drilled into his body. Chaos Divine Wood, devour! Seeing that Yi Chunfeng couldn't withstand the life flames released by the fire mantis and that his meridians and organs were starting to be damaged, the Chaos Divine Wood, under the control of Yi Chunfeng's will, extended thousands of thin roots to every corner of Yi Chunfeng's body and crazily devoured the life flames that had entered his body. Under the devouring of the Chaos Divine Wood, the life flames released by the fire mantis were completely restrained and couldn't threaten Yi Chunfeng. Profound Frost Spirit Water, freeze. When the life flames released by the fire mantis were about to be exhausted, Yi Chunfeng didn't give it a chance to breathe. The profound frost spirit water poured out of his body and attacked it. At its peak, the fire-praying mantis naturally did not fear the profound frost spirit water, but at this moment, the life flame in its body was almost exhausted, and the injuries on its body were too severe. A thin layer of ice covered its huge body, causing its movements to appear a little sluggish. 7 Sword of Judgment. Extreme cold. Yi Chunfeng didn't waste this rare opportunity. His sword force gushed out of his body and transformed into an extreme cold sword light filled with the power of the Great Tao. It bombarded the fire mantis at close range. Boom! Boom! 2 powerful explosive forces rang out. The terrifying power of the Great Path blasted a bloody hole in the fire mantis' heavily injured body. Its huge body smashed into the hard cave wall, causing cracks to appear on the cave wall. It was on the verge of death. Collapsing cloud palm. Yi Chunfeng saw that the seriously injured fire mantis wanted to escape. Regardless of the huge consumption, he constantly sent out collapsing cloud palms filled with the force of 700,000 jin. He continuously attacked the fire mantis's heavily injured body and aggravated its injuries. The fire mantis's life force was constantly being destroyed by Yi Chunfeng. It also sent out the craziest attack before its death. Its fiery red wings flapped rapidly. It faced the collapsing cloud palms and quickly approached Yi Chunfeng. Just as the fire mantis forced itself to approach Yi Chunfeng, the profound frost spirit water once again poured out of Yi Chunfeng's body and froze the fire mantis, causing its movements to be sluggish. 7 Sword of Judgment, Extreme Cold. A sword slashed out. The space shattered and a deep sword mark appeared in the scorching void. The sword slashed at the fire mantis's most heavily injured neck. Gotcha! The terrifying Great Dao attack cut off the fire mantis's neck. A huge amount of dark green blood spurted out. After its neck was cut off, the fire mantis did not die immediately. It was still crazily waving its front limbs, wanting to kill Yi Chunfeng before it died. After using the 7 Sword of Judgment consecutively, Yi Chunfeng also consumed a lot of energy. Fortunately, he had the Water of Heavenly Secret. He instantly recovered the consumed soul power and continuously sent out collapsing cloud palms to attack the fire mantis's heavily injured body. After about half an hour, the fire mantis's attacks became weaker and weaker. It was finally smashed into pieces by the collapsing cloud palms filled with the force of 700,000 Jin. It died. Phew, I finally killed this fire mantis. Looking at the motionless fire mantis lying in a pool of green blood, Yi Chunfeng heaved a sigh of relief. If the fire mantis had not been severely injured by the sword demon's self-destruction before it died and the Chaos Divine would have restrained its life flame, Yi Chunfeng would not have been able to kill it even if he used the life spirit technique. Pass. Reward, Green Spirit Fire. When Yi Chunfeng killed the fire mantis, a deep voice suddenly sounded and entered Yi Chunfeng's ears. Green Spirit Fire. Hearing his reward, Yi Chunfeng was overjoyed. He did not expect to receive a heaven and earth spirit fire as a reward for killing the fire mantis. Thinking of the value of the spirit fire, he felt that all his efforts were worth it. Once he subdued the spirit fire, he would have another powerful trump card. After cutting off the fire mantis's sharp front limbs and digging out its monster core, Yi Chunfeng found the sword demon's remains. He obtained 33 demonic crystal bones, his sword, and a heavy Qiankuan bag. When Yi Chunfeng left the shattered and cracked cave, he saw a ball of green flame floating in midair amidst the sea of flames. The surrounding flames prostrated themselves under it, as if they were worshipping it. As expected of the heaven and earth spirit fire. Chapter 227. When Yi Chunfeng approached the green ethereal spirit fire, the sea of fire that was crawling under the green ethereal spirit fire suddenly attacked him. The overwhelming flames engulfed him. Buzz! After being attacked by the sea of fire, the perfect sword aura gushed out from Yi Chunfeng's body. While protecting his body, the sword aura slashed at the waves of fire. A single sword aura split open a gap in the scorching waves of fire. Swish! The surging waves of fire were split open by the perfect sword aura. The green ethereal spirit fire that was emitting a dark green glow suddenly contracted and turned into a dark green flaming spirit snake. It flew towards Yi Chunfeng. Why is this green ethereal spirit fire attacking? Yi Chunfeng's pupils contracted. He didn't expect that the reward that he obtained from killing the fire mantis would require him to subdue it with his own strength. He decisively controlled the perfect sword aura and slashed down. After being attacked by the perfect sword aura, the green ethereal spirit fire transformed into a flaming spirit snake that immediately exploded and filled the air. In the next moment, the green ethereal spirit fire that filled the air suddenly turned into countless green needles and attacked Yi Chunfeng from all directions. They broke through his body's defenses and entered his body. Chaos Divine Wood, Devour! When the green ethereal spirit fire burned Yi Chunfeng's body, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the mystic frost spirit water to protect his meridians and internal organs. He then mobilized the power of the Chaos Divine Wood to devour. The Chaos Divine Wood could devour all kinds of energy and was the nemesis of the green ethereal spirit fire. Soon enough, the wanton green ethereal spirit fire in Yi Qinfeng's body was restrained by the chaos divine wood and was devoured bit by bit. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After being devoured by the chaos divine wood, the intelligent green ethereal spirit fire struggled violently. Waves of scorching energy were wreaking havoc in Yi Qinfeng's body, burning the devouring roots of the chaos divine wood and destroying his body. However, with the protection of the mystic frost spirit water and the restraint of the chaos divine wood, Yi Qinfeng could completely withstand the resisting flames released by the green ethereal spirit fire. He patiently controlled the chaos divine wood to devour and wear down the green ethereal spirit fire's soul consciousness. It was unknown how long had passed. Could it be 10 days or longer? The green ethereal spirit fire's consciousness slowly dissipated and gradually calmed down. Phew, the green spiritual flame's consciousness is finally gone. Yi Qinfeng, who was under immense pressure, let out a long sigh of relief. He controlled the chaos divine wood to devour the green spiritual fire with all its might. After losing its mind, the chaos divine tree's devouring process became much smoother and faster. Slowly, after devouring a third of the green spirit fire, a thin strand of chaos power was generated from the chaos divine tree. Yi Qinfeng's strength was also slowly increasing as the chaos divine wood devoured the green spiritual fire. At the same time, at the other end of the Thunder Road, the Black Turtle King used all of his abilities and wasted many of his trump cards to kill the Guardian of the Thunder Road. He obtained an extremely precious purple spiritual thunder. Devour. Looking at the purple spiritual lightning that contained the power of destruction, the eyes of the Black Turtle King, who was covered in wounds and had blood flowing out of his mouth, immediately lit up. He opened his bloody mouth and swallowed the purple spiritual lightning. If it could refine the extreme purple spiritual lightning, then its resistance to lightning would be greatly increased. It was completely confident that it would be able to overcome its second lightning tribulation and become the most terrifying sacred beast in the world. Rumble! After forcefully devouring the intelligent purple spiritual lightning, it immediately exploded inside the Black Turtle King's body. The powerful destructive power kept destroying the Black Turtle King's body, wanting to destroy it. Fortunately, the Black Turtle King had gone through the lightning tribulation. Its demonic beast body was much stronger than normal people. It withstood the purple spiritual lightning's attack, and kept controlling The Yao Dan to wear down the purple spiritual lightning's consciousness. Time passed by day after day. When the Black Turtle King controlled the powerful Yao Dan to forcefully erase the purple spiritual lightning's consciousness and refine it, the Black Demon, whose robe was severely damaged and whose breathing was somewhat chaotic, suddenly appeared at the end of the Thunder Road. Black Turtle King, what is it doing? Why are its injuries so serious? Looking at the Black Turtle King's heavily injured body, the Black Demon's eyes immediately emitted a dense killing intent. If he could take this opportunity to eliminate the Black Turtle King, then he would lose his biggest threat. The chances of him obtaining the biggest fortune in the undersea cave would increase by several times. Black Demon, you want to kill me? Just as the killing intent in the Black Demon's eyes became denser and denser and he was about to make his move, the Black Turtle King, who forcefully erased the purple spiritual lightning's consciousness, suddenly spoke. A terrifying demonic power instantly locked onto him. Black Turtle King, why are your injuries so serious? Feeling that the demonic power in the Black Turtle King's body was still very terrifying and brought him a great threat, the Black Demon didn't act rashly. He quickly concealed the killing intent in his eyes and asked in a low voice, "My injuries were caused by refining a spiritual lightning," the Black Turtle King said without hiding anything. Streaks of lightning flashed in its bloody mouth. What? Spiritual lightning? Could it be the ultimate reward of this Thunder Road? The Black Demon knew the value of spiritual lightning. If he could obtain one, his strength would at least double. That's right. I think the reward for the other path of flames should be a ball of spiritual fire. That ball of spiritual fire was most likely obtained by Yi Qinfeng. The Black Turtle King didn't find Yi Qinfeng on the Thunder Road, so he knew that Yi Qinfeng had chosen another fire road. Although his realm wasn't high, his endless means made the Black Turtle King amazed. The Black Turtle King felt that Yi Qinfeng had most likely obtained the spiritual fire. Black Demon, how about we make a deal? You and I will work together to kill Yi Qinfeng. You want the spiritual fire, I want his heaven artifact. As for the other treasures on him, we will divide them equally. The Black Turtle King looked at the flickering Black Demon and proposed in a deep voice. All right. Although the Black Turtle King's injuries weren't light, the difference in strength between a level 6 Mystic Beast Master and a Reverse Beast King was too big. Black Demon, who had used a lot of trump cards, didn't have the confidence to kill the Black Turtle King. In the end, he agreed to cooperate with the Black Turtle King to kill Yi Qinfeng. Phew, the primal chaos divine wood finally swallowed the green spiritual fire. After more than 10 days of swallowing and refining, the primal chaos divine wood had completely swallowed the green spiritual fire and merged with Yi Qinfeng. After refining the green spiritual fire, Yi Qinfeng's strength had greatly increased, reaching the peak of level 5 Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm. More importantly, with the green spiritual fire and profound cold spiritual water, his attack power had greatly increased. I wonder what kind of attack power will be produced when the green spiritual fire and profound cold spiritual water fuse. Since ancient times, water and fire were incompatible. It was even more difficult for the spiritual water and spiritual fire to fuse together. But the existence of the primal chaos divine wood was too heaven-defying. When the profound cold spiritual water and the green spiritual fire fused together, a destructive energy vortex was suddenly produced in the primal chaos divine wood, and a violent aura was emitted from his body. Fire and water vortex! Yi Qinfeng shouted loudly. The fire and water energy vortex rushed out of his body. The energy was so strong that a large area of the air was distorted, and the space became extremely unstable. Break! The fire and water vortex spilled out and bombarded the sea of fire in the distance at an extremely fast speed. Rumble! A series of explosions resounded. The sea of fire in the distance was attacked by the fire and water vortex, and immediately issued an earth-shattering explosion sound. Endless tearing force wantonly spread out, and a huge crater with a radius of several miles was blasted out at the end of the road of fire. What a terrifying power! The energy contained in this fire and water vortex can probably kill a level 3 Mystic Beast Master instantly. Seeing the destructive power of the fire and water vortex from afar, Yi Qinfeng showed a satisfied smile. After subduing the green spiritual fire, he had another powerful trump card in his hand. I wonder what the Black Turtle King has gained in the Lightning Road. Yi Qinfeng guessed that with the Black Turtle King's strength, its gains in the Lightning Road would not be worse than his. After getting the ultimate reward of the Lightning Road, its strength would probably be even more terrifying. Chapter 228. What a gloomy place! What is the origin of this underwater cave? Why is there such a gloomy graveyard in this cave? After flying out of the path of flames, Yi Qinfeng found himself in a gloomy graveyard. Looking around, there were densely packed graves everywhere. A deathly aura that made one shudder floated in the air. I wonder what dangers lie in this graveyard. Yi Qinfeng looked at the boundless graveyard and felt danger everywhere. He decisively summoned the sword puppet. Fuse! In order to increase the strength of the sword puppet, Yi Qinfeng took out 30 magic crystal bones and tried to fuse them into the sword puppet's body. In the next moment, endless demonic aura spread out from the sword puppet's body and converged into a malevolent demonic face. The demonic face charged at the sword puppet and hissed. Attacked by the demonic aura of the magic crystal bones, the sword puppet wasn't affected at all. It allowed the demonic face to attack its body and rapidly increased its strength. As expected, the The sword puppet's strength can be greatly increased after fusing with the magic crystal bones. Sensing that the sword puppet had fused with 30 magic crystal bones and reached level 6 Mystic Beast Grandmaster, Yi Chunfeng was overjoyed. As long as he didn't encounter the Mystic Turtle King, with the protection of the sword puppet, he had a chance to kill Black Demon and King Snake. Let's go! Yi Chunfeng put the sword puppet into his Cosmos bag and summoned the Golden Rock Wings. He shook off the demonic face's pursuit and flew towards the depths of the graveyard at an extremely fast speed. He was looking for a great opportunity here. As he flew deeper into the boundless graveyard, Yi Chunfeng was constantly attacked by skeletons crawling out from the graves. However, with the Golden Rock Wings, Yi Chunfeng was very agile. He easily dodged the fierce attacks from the skeletons and slowly flew into the depths of the graveyard. And what a big graveyard! Yi Chunfeng flew around the graveyard for about a day. Suddenly, he discovered a massive tomb that was over 100 feet tall and several miles wide. A tombstone that was several hundred feet tall and stained with mysterious blood stood in front of the tomb, exuding an endless pressure. Whose tomb is this? Why is it so big? Yi Chunfeng put away his Golden Rock Wings and gripped his titanic fault heavenly sword tightly. He slowly approached the tomb, wanting to find out more about it. Yes, array pattern. As they approached the tomb, Yi Chunfeng's sharp senses discovered that the surroundings of the giant tomb were covered with runes. The runes enveloped the entire tomb and concealed the true scene around the tomb. Furthermore, the tombstone, which was dozens of feet tall, exerted a tremendous pressure on him, making him feel even more pressured. Oh, the snake demon monarch! It's actually trapped in the runes. Yi Chunfeng stood at the edge of the array pattern and released the power of the God-Eater brain to deduce the array pattern. He accidentally sensed the Snake Demon King's aura. At this moment, the Snake Demon King, who was being attacked by the array pattern, was crazily counterattacking. It was trying to rely on its own strength to tear apart the array pattern and approach the giant tomb to search for treasures. However, it knew nothing about array patterns, and the terrifying tombstone affected its strength. For a moment, it couldn't rely on its own attacks to break the array pattern around the giant tomb. Snake Demon King, since we are so fated, I will give you a gift. Yi Chunfeng's lips curled into a cold smile, and his eyes shot out a thick murderous intent. He controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the array pattern around the tomb, trying to change the structure of the array pattern and increase its offensive power to bombard the Snake Demon King. After about an incense stick's worth of time, the God-Eater brain understood the formation pattern structure of this great formation. Yi Chunfeng relied on his attainments in formation patterns to forcibly lower the defensive power of this great formation and increase its offensive power. Endless attacks bombarded the Snake Demon King, constantly shattering the black snake scales on its body and seriously injuring its body. Damn it, how did the power of the array increase again? The Snake Demon King, whose injuries continued to worsen and whose mouth was overflowing with blood, was enraged. It let out a series of ear-piercing hisses and burned its demon core at all costs to forcibly increase its strength. It twitched its snake tail to attack the formation runes. Under the attack of the Snake Demon King's burning demon core, cracks appeared on the surface of the array whose defensive power had decreased. Through these cracks, Yi Chunfeng saw the Snake Demon King's battered body. Oh no, why is he outside? Yi Chunfeng saw the Snake Demon King, and the Snake Demon King also saw him out of the corner of its eye. Its heart sank to the bottom, and it became anxious. Devil Snake King, don't make any unnecessary struggles. Even if this formation pattern doesn't kill you, you won't be able to escape from my pursuit. You should just obediently accept your fate. Yi Chunfeng deliberately attacked the Devil Snake King to distract it. Humph, you think you can do it? The battered Snake Demon King snorted coldly. Its mind was spinning rapidly as it tried to think of a way to deal with this. Although the Snake Demon King wasn't afraid of Yi Chunfeng, it was afraid of the sword puppet. What, do you think I can't kill you? By the way, there's something I forgot to tell you. Your companion, the eight-eyed toad, has been killed by me. Yi Chunfeng continued to disturb the snake demon king, destroying its psychological defenses bit by bit. Yi Chunfeng, just you wait. Sooner or later, I will devour you. Hearing the news of the eight-eyed toad's death, the snake demon king flew into a rage and cursed in a shrill voice. Rumble! As it roared, the attack power gathered by the array pattern swept down. The terrifying attacks bombarded its body continuously, shattering large patches of snake scales and revealing scarlet flesh. Maybe I don't need to do anything. With your strength, you can't break this array pattern restriction. This tomb will be your grave. Yi Chunfeng continued with a cold smile when he saw the snake demon king's injuries through the cracks of the array pattern. As its injuries worsened, the snake demon king became more and more anxious. Through the cracks of the array pattern, it saw the tomb not far away. Suddenly, it used its killer move and attacked. It wanted to wake up the master of the tomb and make the situation chaotic. Only then would it have a chance to escape. Demon snakes filled the sky. Ignoring its injuries, the snake demon king forcibly split into demon snake shadows and continuously attacked the array pattern around the tomb. It forcibly tore cracks in the array pattern that had its defensive power reduced and attacked the huge tomb, causing it to shake. Huge cracks spread on the surface of the tomb. Roar! The next moment, a sinister and terrifying sound came from the tomb, causing the entire array pattern to tremble violently. This snake demon king is so smart. It actually thought of waking up the master of the tomb to deal with me. Hearing the terrifying sound coming from the tomb, Yi Chunfeng's face showed a trace of seriousness. Without hesitation, he summoned the sword puppet. At the next moment, a surge of power gushed out from the tomb, forcibly dispersing the formation runes that enveloped the tomb. A corpse king that was over 8 meters tall, with a grayish-brown body and huge chains wrapped around its body. Its hollow eyes were filled with corpse bugs, and it emitted a thick deathly aura, broke through the tomb and crawled out. Chapter 229. How dare you disturb this king's slumber? Die for me. The corpse king was holding a 5-meter-long hammer that was stained with blood. It was a supreme-grade, earth-grade weapon. It roared furiously at the snake demon king and smashed down with the hammer with great force. If it was at its peak, the peak level 3 heavenly beast demonic snake king would not be afraid of the level 6 Xian beast ancestor corpse king's attack. However, it was currently heavily injured by the formation around the tomb, and was also suppressed by the mysterious tombstone. It was unable to unleash its full power, and could only twist its huge body to dodge the attacks. Boom! The hard ground was hit by the corpse king's hammer, and a huge hole was formed, and the terrifying power shook the ground. Sword puppet, kill the snake demon king with all your might. Compared to the corpse king, the snake demon king was more of a threat to him. While the snake demon king was dodging with all its might, Yi Chunfeng immediately ordered the sword spirit puppet that was filled with a large amount of demonic qi to attack the snake demon king. He wanted to take advantage of the situation to kill it. Qi. The sound of air being torn apart rang out. The sword puppet held the great K heavenly sword and slashed at the snake demon king's body at an extremely fast speed. Although the snake demon king dodged the corpse king's attack, it was unable to dodge the sword spirit puppet's attack. A bloody sword wound appeared on its back that was covered with snake scales. A large amount of blood flowed out, causing the snake demon king to hiss in pain. Yi Chunfeng, this king will remember this enmity. Sooner or later, this king will make you pay with interest. The snake demon king glared at Yi Chunfeng with its blood-red eyes, leaving behind a vicious sentence, and tried to break out of the encirclement. Snake demon king, wait until you are alive to leave. Yi Chunfeng quickly summoned the golden rock wings and flew into the air. Like a flash of lightning, he appeared in front of the snake demon king. In the next moment, the perfect sword force gushed out of his body, and quickly deduced the power of the great Tao, turning into an endless chill that froze the entire void. 7 Swords of Judgment, extreme cold. Yi Chunfeng roared, and the cold sword light that froze the void shot out a top-grade Earth-tier aqua-blue longsword. It was like a falling star, and it bombarded the Snake Demon King in an attempt to stop it. At this critical moment, the Snake Demon Monarch spat out its origin monster core and charged forward, bombarding the extreme cold sword beam. Rumble, the two powerful forces collided with each other. It was as if there was an endless explosion of heavenly thunder. Countless rocks were completely shattered and the earth trembled. After all, the demonic Snake King was a level 3 heavenly beast, and its beast core contained a terrifying amount of energy. The two powerful energies clashed for just a breath's time, and the extreme cold sword light that contained the power of the great Tao shattered. The extreme frost sword aura was broken, but the Snake Demon King's speed was also affected. It was blocked by the sword puppet and the Zombie King, and it was once again caught in a tough battle. Demonic snakes filled the sky. The Snake Demon King's injuries continued to worsen. It did not hesitate to burn its origin monster energy and burn its beast core, forcibly conjuring hundreds of snake shadows to block the tidal wave of attack. Next, a cloud of blood mist exploded from the Snake Demon King's body, and its speed instantly increased. It broke through the sword puppet and the Zombie King's pursuit, and broke out of the ancient tomb at an extremely fast speed. Sword puppet, kill the Zombie King with all your might. Looking at the Snake Demon King's back as it broke out of the encirclement, Yi Chunfeng decisively ordered the sword puppet to attack the Zombie King, while he flapped his golden rock wings and chased after the Snake Demon King with all his might. He wanted to seize the opportunity when the Snake Demon King was heavily injured to eliminate this potential threat. Upon receiving Yi Chunfeng's order, the sword puppet quickly changed its target. Its perfect sword aura gushed out of its body, and it attacked the Zombie King that was not far away. The Snake Demon King was suppressed by the mysterious tombstone and could not use its full strength. However, the sword puppet was not affected at all. Its physical defense was even more terrifying than the Zombie King's, and it was not afraid of the Zombie King's terrifying attack at all. Boom, boom, boom. The sword puppet and the Zombie King fiercely fought each other, stirring up endless sparks. Because the destructive power of the two's battle was too terrifying, it formed a black storm outside the ancient tomb, sweeping in all directions. Profound frost spirit water, freeze. Yi Chunfeng quickly flapped his golden rock wings and slowly caught up with the wounded Snake Demon King. He constantly controlled the profound frost spirit water to freeze its body and slow down its speed. Yi Chunfeng, you dare to chase after this king by yourself? Seeing that Yi Chunfeng was about to catch up with the Snake Demon King, the Snake Demon King suddenly turned its body and jumped up. It opened its bloody mouth and spat out a dark green poisonous mist at Yi Chunfeng, wanting to poison Yi Chunfeng. Green spirit fire burn. Suddenly attacked by the Snake Demon King's poisonous mist, Yi Chunfeng did not panic. He quickly controlled the green spirit fire to fly out of his body and engulf the poisonous mist, burning it into green smoke. Spirit fire, you really subdued a spirit fire. As a demon beast of the North Sea, the Snake Demon King was very afraid of spirit fire. Seeing the green spirit fire sweeping over, it instinctively spat out a demon core to resist the green spirit fire, not daring to let it come close to it. Shadow transforming golden needle talisman. The golden rock wings quickly flapped, rolling up a hurricane, and quickly approached the Snake Demon King. When it was 5 meters away, Yi Chunfeng detonated a shadow transforming golden needle talisman, transforming it into a large number of golden needles, directly attacking the Snake Demon King's soul. Although demon beasts had strong bodies, their soul was their weakness. After being attacked by the shadow-transforming golden needle talisman, the Snake Demon King's soul was immediately injured. A huge pain instantly spread through its head, causing it to howl in pain. Water and fire whirlpool. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the profound cold spirit water to fuse with the green spirit fire, forming a whirlpool that swept through the heaven and earth, engulfing the snake demon king who was roaring in pain and crazily destroying its body. The snake demon king's physical injuries were already extremely heavy, and now that it was attacked by the water and fire whirlpool, it was even worse. Many parts of its body revealed white bones. Demon core burn. With its life hanging by a thread, the seriously injured snake demon king made up its mind and decisively burned 2/3 of its demon core, erupting with a suffocating demon power. It tore apart the water and fire whirlpool, transforming into a demon snake that was dozens of meters long, attacking Yi Chunfeng. The snake demon king burned 2/3 of its demon core, and the demon snake that it transformed into was extremely terrifying. It contained enough power to kill Yi Chunfeng. Seeing the demon snake approaching at an extremely fast speed, Yi Chunfeng decisively flapped his golden rock wings, raising his body and dodging the demon snake's attack. Boom! The moment Yi Chunfeng dodged, the demon snake exploded, transforming into a terrifying tsunami-like force that shook the void and buzzed, bombarding Yi Chunfeng. Not good. Facing the self-explosion of the demon snake, Yi Chunfeng, who had no way to dodge, quickly detonated 300 crystal cold jade talismans, forming 3 layers of cold crystal light barriers around his body. He also blocked the violent demon power with his golden rock wings in front of him. However, the snake demon king burned 2/3 of its demon core, and its attack was too terrifying. The 3 layers of cold crystal light barriers only lasted for 6 breaths of time before shattering. There was still a lot of violent demon power that passed through the golden rock wings and bombarded Yi Chunfeng's body, sending him flying. If Yi Chunfeng hadn't cultivated his 6 meridians divine shield to the 5th level, such a terrifying destructive attack would have been enough to destroy his body. The extremely weak snake demon king revealed a look of regret when it saw that Yi Chunfeng wasn't killed by the self-explosion of the demon snake, that it had burned 2/3 of its demon core. Chapter 230. Sigh, I still let it get away. Yi Chunfeng crawled out of the pit, heavily injured and covered in blood. He looked in the direction that the snake fiend king fled in. Since he no longer had the strength to chase after it, he quickly consumed an earth-ranked spirit pill to treat his injuries. At the same time, the battle between the sword puppet and the zombie king had reached its climax. The ground around the ancient tomb had been destroyed beyond recognition by the two of them, and many places had completely collapsed. Although the zombie king's body was several times larger than the sword puppet's and his strength was comparable to a peerless king, his body's defense could not compare to the sword puppet's. His hammers were constantly smashing down, but they were unable to harm the sword puppet in the slightest. On the other hand, the sword puppet's titanic fault heavenly sword was constantly attacking his body, leaving crisscrossing sword scars all over his body. "Whoa, just who are you?" The zombie king was extremely intelligent. When he realized that his tide-like attacks were unable to harm the sword puppet in the slightest, he began to think of retreating. However, the sword puppet only knew how to kill. It ignored the zombie king's words and continued to burn its demon crystal bones and mid-grade soul crystals, attacking him with all its might. A dazzling sword light soared into the sky, fused with powerful demonic chi and sword aura, and slashed at the retreating zombie king. The terrifying sword light seemed to want to split the heavens and the earth. The zombie king's heart was filled with fear, and he used all his strength to block the attack with his heavy hammer. Boom! The sword spirit puppet's sword chi slashed down on the corpse king's heavy hammer, and immediately, a powerful explosive force erupted. The terrifying sword chi repeatedly struck the heavy hammer, and the more than 8 meters tall corpse king was forced to retreat. After forcing the zombie king back, the sword puppet followed up with another attack. Its entire body fused with the titanic fault heavenly sword, and it was like an invincible divine sword, intimidating the surroundings as it continued to attack the zombie king. The ferocious attacks completely suppressed the Zombie King, and he was forced to retreat. In the end, he crashed into the ancient tomb, which was tens of meters tall, and cracked it open. Slash! The sword puppet's eyes sparkled like jewels. It slashed forward with all its might. The terrifying sword energy was like a galaxy flowing backwards. It cut through the void and severed the right arm of the corpse king, causing black blood to spurt everywhere. Ah, lowly fellow, I will definitely kill you. After losing his right arm, the Zombie King went berserk. The several meters thick iron chains coiled around his body let out a series of clanking noises, coiling around the sword spirit puppet like numerous long dragons, and forcibly tied him up, rendering him unable to move. You can go to hell for me. After binding the sword puppet, the berserk Zombie King roared, as it picked up a heavy hammer that weighed more than 100,000 Gene and smashed it down on the sword puppet's head. The Zombie King was a level 6 Mystic Beast Sect expert, and his strength was boundless. His full strength strike with the heavy hammer was enough to threaten a peerless king. However, when the heavy hammer smashed into the sword puppet's head, not only did it not hurt the sword puppet at all, but a powerful force passed through the heavy hammer and into his arm, causing his arm to go numb. He almost lost his grip on the heavy hammer. What are you? The highly intelligent Zombie King looked in horror at the sword puppet that was completely unharmed and beyond his comprehension. He let out a terrified roar. Swish! Just as the Zombie King was panicking, the titanic fault heavenly sword exploded with boundless sword light. It broke through the chains that bound the sword puppet and pierced through the Zombie King's body. The terrifying sword energy continued to destroy his body, and large amounts of black blood splattered out. The Zombie King, whose right arm had been cut off, was terrified. He decisively abandoned the sword puppet and wanted to escape. However, at that moment, Yi Chunfeng flapped his golden rock wings and flew over at an extremely fast speed, blocking his path. Fire-water vortex. The profound cold spirit water and the green spirit fire gushed out of Yi Chunfeng's body at the same time. They quickly merged and formed a powerful vortex that swallowed the 8-meter-tall Zombie King. When the Zombie King used his powerful physical strength to forcefully tear apart the fire-water vortex, the sword puppet once again merged with the titanic fault heavenly sword and intertwined to form a 10-meter-long light sword that contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. It ruthlessly slashed down and chopped off the Zombie King's left arm. After his left and right arms were chopped off by the sword puppet, the Zombie King fell into a frenzy. Endless demonic energy erupted from his body. Although the Zombie King's attack before his death was terrifying, it was still unable to hurt the sword puppet. Resisting the demonic energy that was crazily attacking him, the sword puppet quickly approached the Zombie King. It intertwined with endless sword energy and continuously attacked the Zombie King's body. In the end, the Zombie King's huge body was cut into pieces and died on the spot. Half of the demonic energy contained in the 30 magic crystal bones has been used up, and a third of the mid-grade soul crystals have been used up. When the sword puppet killed the Zombie King, Yi Chunfeng sensed the remaining energy of the sword puppet and sighed helplessly. Although Yi Chunfeng still had a lot of mid-grade soul crystals and magic crystal bones, he could not afford to use them up at such a high rate. Fortunately, the Zombie King's weapon, the Zombie King's hammer, which weighed more than 100,000 pounds, was a top-grade Earth-grade weapon. It more or less made up for the loss of the sword puppet. What is this? When Yi Chunfeng examined the Zombie King's body, he found a heart-like magic crystal bone near his heart, and inside this magic crystal bone was a drop of dark red blood. What a powerful demonic energy! Yi Chunfeng picked up this magic crystal bone and found that the demonic energy it contained was dozens of times stronger than ordinary magic crystal bones. The reason why the Zombie King's strength was so terrifying was because of this magic crystal bone. I wonder if I can cultivate the marrow refining stage to the minor success stage after refining this magic crystal bone. In order to further improve his strength, Yi Chunfeng decided to refine this magic crystal bone that contained the mysterious blood and break through to the level 6 heavenly beast immortal realm. He would try to cultivate the last stage of the 6 meridians divine shield stage, the marrow refining stage. If he could break through and cultivate the marrow refining stage to the minor success stage, then his pure physical strength would reach a terrifying force of 600,000 pounds. With just his physical strength, he would be able to crush an ordinary Xian beast sect expert. Sword puppet, let's go. Yi Chunfeng searched through the huge ancient tomb, but did not find any valuable treasures. He left with the sword puppet helplessly. 100 miles northwest of the ancient tomb, they found an abandoned tomb. They drilled into it and laid down hundreds of defensive array patterns to seal the tomb area. Sword puppet, protect me! Yi Chunfeng gave the sword puppet a guard order and began to adjust his breathing to recover. He was preparing to adjust his condition to the best state before refining the magic crystal bone of the heart demon shadow to break through to the next stage. Just as Yi Chunfeng was hiding in the depths of the tomb and preparing to refine this extraordinary magic crystal bone, the snake demon king, who had escaped with serious injuries, happened to run into Black Demon in this tomb. Chapter 231. Phew, it's time to refine this demon heart crystal. Yi Chunfeng had spent most of the day adjusting his breathing, finally adjusting his body to its peak state. He was ready to refine this demon heart crystal that contained the mysterious blood. This demon heart crystal doesn't have any demonic energy. When Yi Chunfeng carefully refined the demon heart crystal didn't leak out any demonic energy, which surprised him a little. He hesitated for a moment, then controlled the perfect sword aura to wrap around his fingertips. He forcibly cut open his own chest and placed the demon heart crystal into his bloody chest. As the demon heart crystal entered his body, Yi Chunfeng immediately felt a violent demonic energy fuse into his flesh and blood, rampaging through his crisscrossing meridians and destroying his body. Soul-devouring tactics, refine. Yi Chunfeng resisted the tearing pain from his body, multitasking. On one hand, he operated the soul-devouring tactics, forcibly refining the demonic energy released by the demon heart crystal, increasing his strength. On the other hand, he cultivated the 6 meridian divine shield, forcibly refining the massive amount of demonic energy surging through his meridians into his bone marrow. Yi Chunfeng had personally experienced the pain of bone forging, but compared to the pain of marrow refining, the pain of bone forging was nothing. As the demonic energy released by the demon heart crystal was compressed into his bone marrow, Yi Chunfeng suddenly felt as if 10,000 arrows were piercing his heart. Every bit of demonic energy that was compressed into his bone marrow was like thousands of silver needles piercing into his body, causing him to hover between life and death. Few endure, I must endure. Yi Chunfeng clenched his fists and gritted his teeth, bitterly persevering, enduring the inhuman pain brought about by marrow refining. However, as the demonic energy released by the demon heart crystal increased, Yi Chunfeng's body slowly swelled up. Tiny cracks spread across his skin, and large amounts of dark red blood uncontrollably seeped out. At this time, Yi Chunfeng felt as if his body was about to explode. The recklessly released energy constantly erupted within his body. Even though his body was incomparably powerful, he still couldn't withstand it. Soon, flowers of blood bloomed on the surface of Yi Chunfeng's body. Large amounts of flesh and blood couldn't withstand the energy released by the demon heart crystal and constantly exploded. Cracks also appeared in his blood vessels. Chaos Divine Wood, suppress it with all your might. The reason Yi Chunfeng dared to take the risk of directly swallowing the demon heart crystal was because of the Chaos Divine Wood within his body. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng could not withstand the energy released by the demon heart crystal, he decisively controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to suppress the energy released by the demon heart crystal, relieving his pressure and pain. Under the suppression of the Chaos Divine Wood, Yi Qinfeng's rapidly expanding body slowly returned to normal. The pain in his body also lessened a little. And at this time, Yi Qinfeng had refined a fifth of the demon heart crystal's energy. His soul force had reached an overflowing degree, and his spirit beast blood dragon had also reached the limit of its strength, unable to continue growing. This time, the accumulation had reached perfection. Yi Qinfeng did not hesitate any longer, allowing the soul power in his body to continue to increase. When the conditions were right, he naturally broke through the bottleneck and reached the 6th level of the heavenly beast immortal realm. After breaking through to the next realm, Yi Qinfeng's body's endurance had greatly increased. His ruptured meridians and flesh were slowly healing under the nourishment of his greatly increased soul power. Demon Heart Crystal, go all out to refine the marrow. After breaking through to the 6th level of the heavenly beast immortal realm, Yi Qinfeng knew that he would not be able to break through to the profound beast ancestor realm in a short period of time, so he wholeheartedly devoted himself to refining the marrow. As more and more demon heart crystal's energy was absorbed into his marrow, a large amount of blood flowed out of his body, soaking the soil beneath him and dyeing him red. I've finally begun to change my blood. Yi Qinfeng knew that in order to refine the marrow, he first had to change his blood. Only by changing the blood in his body would he be able to cultivate to the small success stage of the marrow refining realm. And the process of changing blood was extremely fierce. The slightest carelessness could result in failure. He could not be disturbed by others, or else his life would be in danger. At the same time, Black Demon and the Snake Demon King had turned the ancient tomb upside down, but they could not find Yi Qinfeng's whereabouts. Damn it, that Yi Qinfeng escaped. The Snake Demon King gritted his teeth, because he could not find Yi Qinfeng. Although he had completely stabilized his injuries, the loss from burning his Yao core could not be recovered in a short period of time. Without several years, he would not be able to recover to his peak state. Such a large ancient tomb, there must be a great treasure. I think that Yi Qinfeng will refine the treasure as soon as he obtains it. Let's search the nearby area. Perhaps we will have an unexpected harvest. Black Demon's eyes flashed with a ruthless light as he looked around at the yin-chi pervading the surroundings. All right. The Snake Demon King nodded and searched for Yi Qinfeng's whereabouts with Black Demon. Time passed day by day. Yi Qinfeng relied on his tenacious willpower to endure the inhumane torment while suppressing the energy released by the demon heart bone into his marrow. He accelerated the speed of his blood changing and slowly changed his marrow. Kacha! About 5 days later, Yi Qinfeng's old blood had almost flowed out. Just as his marrow was slowly changing and new blood was being produced, cracks suddenly appeared on the surface of the demon heart bone that had almost exhausted its energy. The strand of dark red blood that was nurtured in the deepest part of the demon heart bone flowed out and fused with Yi Qinfeng's body. Suddenly, a ghostly wail came from Yi Qinfeng's body. The dark red blood seemed to have a life of its own as it screamed in Yi Qinfeng's body, destroying his flesh. In the blink of an eye, Yi Qinfeng felt his flesh being destroyed beyond recognition by the energy released by the dark red blood. His recently healed meridians and internal organs were damaged once again. He quickly controlled the primal chaos divine wood to suppress it, but at this time, the strand of dark red blood that seemed to have a life of its own rushed into Yi Qinfeng's mind at an extremely fast speed, wanting to devour his brain and control his body. What kind of blood is this? Feeling the intent of the dark red blood, Yi Qinfeng was shocked. He quickly controlled the God-Eater brain to release a powerful devouring power to envelop it, forcibly erasing the mysterious consciousness in the blood. Screech, sensing the threat of the God-Eater brain, the dark red blood immediately became restless, releasing streaks of bloody light, wanting to escape from Yi Qinfeng's mind. But the God-Eater brain completely restrained it, not giving it a chance to escape. Streaks of devouring power seeped into the blood, quickly refining its consciousness. Soon, the consciousness in the dark red blood became weaker and weaker. In the end, it turned into a drop of blood that contained pure soul power and floated in Yi Chunfeng's mind. The next moment, the information of this drop of blood appeared in the God-Eater brain. Heavenly soul blood, the best soul blood in the world. It contains the power of the heavenly soul and can nourish spiritual beasts. If not for the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng would never have known about the heavenly soul blood. This was because in the records of the fighting spirit continent, only the earthly soul blood was mentioned. The appearance of the earthly soul blood alarmed many reclusive old monsters in the fighting spirit continent, setting off a bloody storm. After learning the information of this mysterious drop of blood, Yi Chunfeng was overjoyed. Without hesitation, he condensed a blood dragon in his mind and swallowed the heavenly soul blood. After swallowing the heavenly soul blood, the blood dragon immediately transformed. The dragon's scales covering its body became bigger and bigger, and its towering dragon horns became sharper. And on its forehead, the ancient king word was faintly discernible. Roar! Just as the blood dragon merged with the heavenly soul blood and underwent a qualitative change, an extremely penetrating dragon's roar rang out in Yi Chunfeng's mind. The terrifying sound wave broke through the layers of formation patterns and soared into the clouds, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. What's that sound? The black demon and the snake demon monarch, who were desperately searching for Yi Chunfeng, immediately looked toward the northwest when they heard the dragon roar released by the blood dragon's transformation. Dragon roar, it's a dragon roar. It's coming from Yi Chunfeng's spiritual beast. He's in the northwest. Chapter 232. The King Ancient Rune. Is the blood dragon going to evolve into a blood dragon king after fusing with the heavenly soul blood? Normally, the spiritual beast of a legendary king would only evolve after reaching the Battle Beast Emperor realm. However, Yi Chunfeng's spiritual beast was evolving for the second time after reaching the level 6 Heavenly Beast Immortal realm. This had never happened before in the history of the Duhan continent. Someone is approaching. It's them. While Yi Chunfeng was waiting for the blood dragon to fuse with the heavenly soul blood and evolve for the second time, he suddenly sensed Black Demon and the Snake Demon King's aura rapidly approaching. He guessed that they were attracted by the blood dragon's roar during its evolution. Sword Puppet, stop them from getting close to me at all costs. Yi Chunfeng only had one drop of the heavenly soul blood. The blood dragon could not afford any mistakes during its evolution. If it was disturbed, it might affect the blood dragon's final evolution. Yi Chunfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet. Upon receiving Yi Chunfeng's order, the sword puppet jumped out of the 10-meter deep tomb and appeared outside with the gigantic fault heavenly sword in hand. It guarded the entrance of the tomb and looked at Black Demon and the Snake Demon King with sharp eyes. Yi Chunfeng, I didn't expect you to be hiding here. Today, I must devour you. Although the sword puppet was still a great threat, the Snake Demon King believed that it could kill Yi Chunfeng and take revenge with Black Demon's help. Anyone who comes close will die. The sword spirit puppet's gem-like eyes shone with a strong killing intent as it warned with a murderous look in its eyes. Black Demon, how about I leave that brat's doppelganger to you? I will go down and kill Yi Chunfeng. The Snake Demon King's strength was greatly reduced due to the severe loss of its monster core. It did not dare to face the sword puppet alone, so it suggested to Black Demon. Sure. But after killing Yi Chunfeng, I will choose first from his treasures, Black Demon replied in a low voice. Okay. The Snake Demon King hesitated for a moment and finally nodded in agreement. Demon Killing Array. Black Demon also knew how terrifying the sword puppet was. He immediately summoned his biggest trump card, the Demon Killing Array, which was filled with endless demon chi. Sword Puppet, hold on for half an incense's worth of time at all costs. Don't let them come near me during this time. Yi Chunfeng immediately gave the sword puppet a death order the moment he sensed the aura of the demon killing formation. Upon receiving Yi Chunfeng's order, The sword puppet immediately ignited the magic crystal bone and mid-grade soul crystal that had fused with its body. Waves of powerful energy erupted from its body, causing the air around it to churn. Demon killing formation, endless killing light. Hayamo spat out a mouthful of blood essence into the demon killing matrix. Immediately, the demon killing matrix was activated. The powerful demonic power caused the heaven and earth to change. Streaks of black demonic light, which were powerful enough to kill a level 6 mystic beast sect expert, shot out from the demon-killing matrix. They dispersed the demon chi floating in the air and bombarded the sword puppet's body at a speed that was hard to see with the naked eye. Facing the endless killing light attack formed by the demon-killing matrix, the perfect sword force gushed out from the sword puppet's body. It suddenly took a step forward, and the powerful force created a spiderweb-like crack on the ground. Perfect sword force slash. The sword spirit puppet slashed out with its sword, and a 10-meter-long light sword split the heavens and the earth. The incomparably sharp sword light directly shattered the endless killing light that was coming at it, and bombarded the rapidly revolving demon-killing array. Rumble! A series of terrifying explosions rang out, and a terrifying shockwave spread out in all directions with the demon-killing matrix as the center, causing a large number of cracks to appear on the ground. Witnessing the power of the sword puppet's sword, the Snake Demon King's expression changed slightly. A trace of fear appeared in its heart, and it didn't dare to blindly approach the sword puppet. Let's see how many times you can withstand the demon-killing matrix's attack. Although the sword puppet's attack power shocked Black Demon, he was very confident in the demon-killing matrix's attack power. After forcibly stabilizing the demon-killing matrix, he continued to control the demon-killing matrix to attack the sword puppet. As the demon-killing matrix's attacks became more and more violent, the entire void trembled. An endless storm swept through the heaven and earth, as if the end of the world had arrived. Facing the ferocious attacks of the demon-killing matrix, the sword puppet was like an unshakable war god. It held the gigantic fault heavenly sword in its hand and fiercely counterattacked. Streaks of sharp sword shadows constantly slashed the demonic light and collided with the demon-killing matrix. What are you waiting for? Quickly go and kill that Yi Chunfeng. When Black Demon was controlling the demon-killing matrix to attack, he found that the Snake Demon King was indifferent. He was furious and roared at the Snake Demon King. Black Demon, the destructive power of your attacks is too terrifying. How do you want me to get close? If the demon core wasn't damaged, the Snake Demon King would naturally dare to rush into the destructive storm. But now its demon core had less than a third of its demon core left, and its strength was greatly reduced. It didn't dare to take the risk. Trash. Black Demon cursed in his heart. Ignoring the damage to his body, he spat out a few more mouthfuls of blood essence and fused it with the demon-killing matrix to increase its attack power. He wanted to force the sword puppet back. However, the sword puppet's defense was too terrifying. The attacks of the demon-killing matrix couldn't hurt it at all, let alone shake its body. However, the energy contained in the sword puppet was being consumed at an extremely fast speed. Blood Dragon, use all your strength to refine the heavenly soul blood. Sensing that the sword puppet only had a third of its strength left, Yi Chunfeng controlled the blood dragon to speed up the refinement of the heavenly soul blood and undergo a second evolution. Roar! As the blood dragon was evolving at full strength, it let out painful dragon roars from time to time, destroying the entire tomb. Snake Demon King, if I'm not wrong, now is the best time to kill Yi Chunfeng. If we miss this opportunity, it will be difficult for us to kill him. Hearing the blood dragon's painful roars, the experienced Black Demon guessed that Yi Chunfeng was at a critical stage of his cultivation. He continued to urge the Snake Demon King. Alright. The Snake Demon King made up its mind. It twisted its huge body and took the risk to approach the sword puppet. Seeing the Snake Demon King approaching, the sword puppet allowed the demon-killing matrix to attack it. It interweaved sharp sword rays and attacked the Snake Demon King, forcing it to retreat. Where did Yi Chunfeng get this clone? Why is it so sturdy and unbreakable? Facing the fierce attacks of the demon-killing matrix head-on, even a peerless king would have to avoid it. However, the sword puppet wasn't affected at all. It even had the strength to attack the Snake Demon King. This made Black Demon anxious. Time passed bit by bit. Seeing that the sword puppet only had a fifth of its energy left, the blood dragon finally refined the heavenly soul blood that contained the power of the heavenly soul. Its entire body underwent a huge change. The dragon's scales that covered its entire body doubled in size. Its huge body grew to 1,000 meters. Its dragon horns became more prominent, and its sharp dragon claws seemed to be able to tear the world apart. Its power was endless. However, the second evolution of a spiritual beast at the level 6 heavenly beast immortal realm was beyond the scope of the heavenly Tao. A drop of precious heavenly soul blood didn't allow the blood dragon to completely evolve into the blood dragon king. However, the power contained in the blood dragon surpassed the spiritual beasts of ordinary mystic beast sect expert. It greatly increased Yi Chunfeng's strength. Sword Puppet let the Snake Demon King in. After breaking through to the level 6 heavenly beast immortal realm, almost all the blood in his body had been replaced. The blood dragon had completed 2/3 of its evolution. Yi Chunfeng's strength had greatly increased. He couldn't wait to test his own strength. Upon receiving Yi Chunfeng's order, the sword puppet suddenly moved. It gave up on guarding and rushed toward Black Demon, launching a counterattack. Good chance. Chapter 233. Rune Formation, Seal. The moment the Snake Demon King entered the tomb, Yi Chunfeng's hands moved quickly, forming a series of complicated hand seals. He quickly repaired the rune formation that was broken by the dragon's roar, sealing the ancient tomb once again. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's actions, the Snake Demon King's expression changed slightly, and a trace of uneasiness appeared in its heart. If Yi Chunfeng did not have something to rely on, he would not dare to seal the ancient tomb. Snake Demon King, I did not expect us to meet again so soon, Yi Chunfeng said in a deep voice with his hands behind his back, looking at the vigilant Snake Demon King with a faint smile. The Snake Demon King forcibly suppressed the uneasiness in its heart, sticking out its long tongue, and said with a murderous aura, Yi Chunfeng, don't think that you have nothing to fear just because you have broken through. This king will definitely devour you today. With just you? Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up slightly, and a trace of disdain appeared on his face. A strong battle intent was emitted from his body. In an instant, Yi Chunfeng's battle intent reached its peak, and an unparalleled battle intent spread out from his body, attacking the Snake Demon King's heart. Feeling Yi Chunfeng's battle intent, the uneasiness in the Snake Demon King's heart grew stronger. It could not imagine that a level 6 heavenly beast immortal like Yi Chunfeng could give it such a huge pressure. Roar. When Yi Chunfeng's battle intent reached its peak, a high-pitched dragon's roar rang out. A blood dragon with a body length of 1,000 meters and a width of 1 meter appeared on Yi Chunfeng's body, filling the entire tomb. The Snake Demon King's body was already very big, but in front of the 1,000-meter-long blood dragon, it was like a small snake. The terrifying dragon's aura completely intimidated it, causing fear to grow in its heart. Instant kill sword. Just as the Snake Demon King's mind was shaken, the huge blood dragon fused into Yi Chunfeng's body. Boundless soul power erupted from his body, and an incomparably sharp blue sword light flashed in front of the Snake Demon King's eyes. The sword light pierced towards the Snake Demon King's scale-covered abdomen. The demonic Snake King was after all a level 3 heavenly beast, and its scales had a terrifying defensive power. With the help of its tough scales, it managed to block Yi Chunfeng's instant kill strike. Brat, so you were bluffing. The Serpent Demon Monarch saw that Yi Chunfeng, who had lost the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword, couldn't even break through its defenses. A sinister smile appeared on its charming face as it prepared to counterattack. 600,000 Jin of force explode. Yi Chunfeng roared as a tidal wave of energy erupted from his body. The powerful energy directly broke through the Snake Demon King's body defense and pierced into its body. A large amount of blood spurted out from its abdomen. Ah! Damn brat, I'll kill you! With its abdomen injured, the Snake Demon King immediately went berserk and whipped its slender tail at an extremely fast speed. Shape-shifting shadow. Faced with the Snake Demon King's attack, Yi Chunfeng immediately used shape-shifting shadow and instantly transformed into 9 shadows. He dodged the tail attack and continued to attack the Snake Demon King. Fire and water whirlpool. The profound cold spirit water and the green spirit fire gushed out of Yi Chunfeng's body. Under his control, they fused together, forming a whirlpool of water and fire. The whirlpool engulfed the Snake Demon King and crazily destroyed its body. Attacked by the fire and water whirlpool, the scales on the Snake Demon King's body were immediately damaged. A large amount of fire and ice energy kept drilling into its body, causing it unbearable pain. Demonic snakes filled the sky. The Snake Demon King unleashed the remaining power of its demonic core and instantly formed dozens of demonic snakes. They continuously attacked the fire and water whirlpool, forcibly tearing a hole in the whirlpool. 7 Swords of Judgment, Extreme Cold. Seeing that the Snake Demon King had broken free, the shadow of the Blood Dragon appeared behind Yi Chunfeng. The boundless power of the great Tao transformed into extreme cold sword light. It tore through the void and ruthlessly slashed at the Snake Demon King's huge body. After breaking through to the level 6 Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm, the Blood Dragon had evolved by 2/3. Yi Chunfeng's combat strength had greatly increased, and the power of the 7 Swords of Judgment had increased. The Snake Demon King, whose demonic core had been severely damaged, could only use half of its strength. It was unable to resist Yi Chunfeng's thunderous attacks. Chi! The extreme cold sword light tore through the demonic snakes filled the sky that the Snake Demon King had unleashed. It broke through the Snake Demon King's body defense and blasted a bloody hole in its body, severely injuring it. The tomb, which was covered with array patterns, collapsed under the impact of the extreme cold sword light. What did he get in the ancient tomb? How did his strength increase so much? The Snake Demon King gritted its teeth as it thought that if it were not for Yi Chunfeng, the opportunity in the ancient tomb would have been its own. It hated Yi Chunfeng even more. Demonic core burn. Being valued, the Snake Demon King did not hesitate to burn its demonic core. It forcibly stabilized its injuries and rushed out of the tomb that had collapsed due to the array patterns. It wanted to escape. 1. Just as the Snake Demon King rushed out of the tomb, an ear-piercing sound of a sword rang out. Yi Chunfeng, who was surrounded by dragon shadows, cut open the tomb with his sword and attacked the Snake Demon King, not giving it a chance to escape. Black Demon, save me! The Snake Demon King had never dreamt that Yi Chunfeng's combat strength would increase by dozens of times, just by 1 level. It was a great threat to it, so it hurriedly asked Black Demon for help. However, under the fierce attacks of the sword puppet, Black Demon had no time to save it. He was constantly controlling the demon-killing array to attack the sword puppet. Stop shouting. No one can save you here. Yi Chunfeng looked at the panic-stricken Snake Demon King. A light flashed under his feet as he approached it at an extremely fast speed. Roar! When Yi Chunfeng approached, the Snake Demon King immediately opened its mouth and spat out a large amount of black demonic power. It attacked Yi Chunfeng, trying to force him to retreat. The billowing demonic power swept over. The perfect sword force and 600,000 kilograms of strength exploded in Yi Chunfeng's body at the same time. They intertwined in the aqua-blue sword and met the attack. Chi! An ear-piercing sound rang out. Yi Chunfeng's sword broke the black demonic power spat out by the Snake Demon King like a hot knife cutting through butter. fire and water vortex. Then, the profound cold spirit water and the green spirit fire gushed out of Yi Chunfeng's body again, forming a vortex full of tearing power. It engulfed the Snake Demon King's scarred body. When the Snake Demon King burned its demonic core and forcibly broke through the fire and water vortex, a terrifying force locked onto it. Yi Chunfeng jumped high, holding the Corpse King hammer that weighed more than 100,000 kilograms, and smashed down with a powerful destructive force. The Corpse King hammer that weighed more than 100,000 kilograms had a terrifying destructive force. In addition to the 600,000 kilograms of strength that Yi Chunfeng had unleashed, the resulting power was enough to flatten a small mountain. Boom! The Corpse King hammer smashed down heavily like a meteorite on the Snake Demon King's body, directly flattening its huge body. A large amount of blood flowed out, and the ground within a 1-mile radius collapsed. No, don't kill me. As long as you spare me, I'm willing to submit to you. The Snake Demon King that was seriously injured and only had one breath left was terrified. It begged bitterly. You don't deserve to follow me. The Snake Demon King's room for growth was limited. Yi Chunfeng did not waste a soul devourer's brain to control it. He continued to attack with the Corpse King hammer, completely destroying its vitality. Yi Chunfeng, die with me. With its vitality gone, the Snake Demon King that had fallen into madness roared and detonated its demonic core. A powerful explosive force burst out from its body. However, the moment the Snake Demon King detonated its demonic core, Yi Chunfeng's keen perception sensed the danger. He used form-shifting shadow to quickly dodge and was only affected by the aftershock. Chapter 234. Seeing the Black Demon's fleeing figure, Yi Chunfeng didn't order the sword spirit puppet, whose energy was almost depleted, to chase after the Black Demon. He quickly plundered the Snake Demon King's remains and obtained 41 demon crystal bones. Sword puppet fuse. The sword puppet was his biggest reliance. Yi Chunfeng didn't hesitate to use the magic crystal bones and mid-grade soul crystals. He fused the remaining 360,000 mid-grade soul crystals and the 41 magic crystal bones he obtained from killing the Snake Demon King into the sword puppet's body to replenish its consumed energy. After fusing 360,000 mid-grade soul crystals and 41 magic crystal bones, the sword puppet's entire body was shrouded in demonic chi and had reached the limit of level 6 Mystic Beast Master. However, Yi Chunfeng only had 40 magic crystal bones and a large number of low-grade soul crystals left. I wonder what kind of test is waiting for me in this underwater cave. Yi Chunfeng put the sword puppet into his Qiankuan bag and summoned the golden rock wings. He flew towards the depths of the graveyard at an extremely fast speed to find other opportunities and a way to leave. A spatial black hole. I finally found a way to leave. Yi Chunfeng flew in the desolate graveyard for about 2 days. Through the slowly drifting death chi, he saw a small black dot in the distant sky. It seemed to be a spatial black hole. He immediately sped up and flew towards it. When Yi Chunfeng approached the spatial black hole, his keen perception detected a dangerous aura from the black dead pool below the black hole. He immediately held the 2 shadow-transforming golden needle talismans in his hand and flapped the golden rock wings to slowly approach the black hole. When he was about 10 meters away from the black dead pool, Yi Chunfeng suddenly stimulated the golden rock bloodline and greatly increased his flying speed. He turned into a dark golden light and accelerated towards the spatial black hole. Bang! A towering water column soared into the sky like a huge black dragon and bombarded Yi Chunfeng. Black Turtle King, Black Demon, you were indeed hiding below. Suddenly attacked by the towering water column, Yi Chunfeng quickly controlled the profound cold spirit water to defend and directly froze the black water column. He saw Black Turtle King and Black Demon rushing out of the dead pool and quickly approaching. Yi Chunfeng, I want your life. When the Black Tortoise King heard about the death of the Snake Demon King from the Black Demon, He immediately flew into a rage. He let out an uncontrollable roar at Yi Chunfeng and quickly approached him. Shadow-transforming golden needle talisman. The Black Tortoise King was Yi Chunfeng's greatest danger. Without waiting for it to get close, Yi Chunfeng detonated a shadow-transforming golden needle talisman and attacked the Black Tortoise King with extreme speed. The Golden Rock Talisman. Black Turtle King's soul was Golden Rock Talisman. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Chunfeng quickly flapped his golden rock wings and flew towards the spatial black hole. Seeing Yi Chunfeng use the talisman to injure Black Turtle King's soul, Black Demon didn't blindly approach Yi Chunfeng. He summoned the demon-killing array and controlled it to release endless demonic light, bombarding the spatial black hole. He wanted to seal the spatial black hole and not let Yi Chunfeng escape. Seeing the demonic light released by the demon-killing array enveloping the spatial black hole and releasing endless destructive power, Yi Chunfeng didn't retreat. Instead, he directly rushed forward. Roar! A terrifying dragon's roar sounded out as a 1,000-meter-long blood dragon image appeared behind Yi Chunfeng. The terrifying dragons might shook the heavens and earth, causing the Black Turtle King to instinctively feel a trace of fear, and its attack speed slowed down. Seven Sword of Judgment, Extreme Cold. Yi Chunfeng roared. He merged the power of the Blood Dragon and controlled the power of the Great Tao. He forcefully bombarded the spatial black hole with demonic light. Rumble! The endless demonic light was attacked by the extreme cold sword light. There was a violent explosion, and cracks appeared on the surface of the demonic light. 600,000 pounds of strength explode. The demonic light that sealed the black hole shattered. Yi Chunfeng's entire body exploded with astonishing power. The 1,000-meter-long blood dragon once again appeared around his body. It circled around him and collided with the broken demonic light with him. Boom! The shattered demonic light was shattered by Yi Chunfeng's full force. Under the unwilling gaze of Black Turtle King and Black Demon, Yi Chunfeng crashed into the spatial black hole and disappeared under the chaotic sky. Chase! Seeing Yi Chunfeng crash into the spatial black hole, the furious Black Tortoise King and Black Demon soared into the sky. They both flew into the spatial black hole and chased after Yi Chunfeng. Palace! Yi Chunfeng passed through the spatial black hole and discovered that he had entered a great hall that exuded an ancient aura. The estate spirit that he had met in the outer hall had appeared in the great hall. Junior, we meet again, the palace spirit said in a deep voice. Senior, is Nick Heng doing well? Yi Chunfeng didn't expect the palace spirit to appear and asked. That little girl is doing well. Under my protection, she has already broken through to the 3rd level of the Mystic Beast Ancestor realm. The palace spirit replied. Feeling that Black Turtle King and Black Demon were about to catch up, Yi Chunfeng didn't dare to stay any longer and asked, Thank you, Senior, for your protection. Can I continue? You are worried about the human and demon behind you, right? Don't worry. In here, without my permission, no one can make a move. The palace spirit seemed to have seen through Yi Chunfeng's thoughts and said in a deep voice. As he spoke, Black Turtle King and Black Demon passed through the spatial black hole and entered the palace. Little bastard, die for me. When enemies saw each other, their eyes turned red. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was not far away, the Black Tortoise King roared. Purple spiritual lightning shot out from its mouth. It turned into a field of lightning and attacked Yi Chunfeng. Just as the destructive violet thunder was about to land on Yi Chunfeng's body, the space in front of Yi Chunfeng started to distort strangely. When the violet thunder hit the distorted space, it disappeared like a clay ox entering the sea. The power of space! Seeing the twisted space in front of him, Yi Chunfeng's heart was in turmoil. The power of space and the power of time were the two most mysterious powers in the universe. Little turtle, this is not a place for you to behave atrociously. If you continue to be impudent, don't blame me for throwing you out of here. The palace spirit issued a deep voice to warn Black Turtle King. Okay, now in the entire cave, aside from the 3 people in the outer palace, only the 3 of you are left. You have come to the ultimate palace and have the chance to choose whether or not to accept the ultimate test. If you pass the test, you will receive the Master's ultimate inheritance. If you fail, you may die here. And if you choose to give up, I will give you a certain reward. The palace spirit saw Black Turtle King behave and said in a low voice, "The sword demon is dead." Knowing that aside from the 3 of them, everyone else was dead, Black Demon's eyes immediately became gloomy. He looked at Yi Chunfeng with eyes full of killing intent. He felt that the sword demon was most likely killed by Yi Chunfeng. "I am willing to accept the ultimate test," Yi Chunfeng said without thinking. "We are willing too." The Black Tortoise King and Black Demon would definitely not miss the opportunity to obtain the greatest fortune in the underwater cave. Okay, since you are willing to accept the test, there is no turning back. Stand still, I will send you to the test space. With that, Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 felt the space in front of them distort. A large amount of illusory power flashed in front of them. Chapter 235. The 3 of them are your opponents. Only by defeating them can you finally step onto the path of the ultimate will. Those who fail will forever lose the qualification to step onto the path of the ultimate will. The mansion spirit appeared in this murderous space and said in a deep voice, "Senior, how strong are they?" Yi Chunfeng looked at the black-robed man who gave him a great sense of danger and asked, "Their strength is set to be 2 levels higher than yours. That is to say, you have to defeat opponents 2 levels higher than you to pass. Also, when you take the test later, you cannot use any external power or weapons. You can only defeat them with your own strength." The mansion spirit told Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 about the harsh test. What? Defeat opponents 2 levels higher? Knowing the test, the Black Tortoise King's heart fell to the bottom. Although it was the strongest, far stronger than Yi Chunfeng and Heiemo, it was impossible for it to defeat a level 6 heavenly beast, which was equivalent to a level 6 beast king. Even if it burned its beast core, it still wouldn't be able to do it. However, for Yi Chunfeng, who had the ability to kill opponents several levels higher than him, it was much easier. Can I choose to give up now? Facing the almost impossible test, the Black Tortoise King had no choice but to retreat. However, it looked at Yi Chunfeng with eyes full of killing intent. In its opinion, Yi Chunfeng was the most likely to pass the test and take everything that was supposed to belong to it. You have no choice. Now, it's your turn to take the test. The mansion spirit said without a trace of emotion. The Black Tortoise King was so angry that it almost vomited blood. As it said that, a large light screen appeared around the Black Tortoise King's body, isolating the space. The black-robed man not far from it suddenly opened his sharp eyes. A suffocating power was emitted from the black-robed man's body. Level 6 Beast King. Feeling the aura from the black-robed man, the Black Tortoise King made up its mind and changed into its strongest battle form. It exploded with more than 1,000,000 gene of strength, like a giant meteorite, hitting the black-robed man with all its strength. The Black Tortoise King crashed with a powerful destructive force. The black-robed man's tall and straight body surged with a powerful force, gathering in his right fist. An unstoppable and horrifying fist light shot out, causing the airflow to surge. It landed on the Black Turtle King's body. Bang! The Black Tortoise King's body trembled. A force beyond what it could withstand surged into its body. It was sent flying with a single punch, slamming into the space wall behind it. A large amount of blood spurted out from its mouth. The difference in strength was too great. The Black Tortoise King looked at the invincible black-clothed man who had sent him flying with a single punch. He felt powerless in his heart. At this time, the black-robed man continued to attack it. The tide-like attacks completely suppressed it, making it unable to fight back. Cracks also appeared on its hard tortoise shell. Don't fight, I admit defeat. The Black Tortoise King's injuries became more and more serious. A large amount of blood flowed out of his mouth. In the end, he lowered his noble head and humbly admitted defeat. Buzz buzz! The Black Turtle King admitted defeat. The space before him twisted and a powerful teleportation force wrapped around him, sending him out of the cave and back to the vast North Sea. Next, it's your turn. After sending the Mystic Turtle King, who had failed the test, out of the cave spirit cast its gaze at the calm and emotionless Black Demon. I give up the test. The difference in strength between the Mystic Beast sect and the Reverse Beast King was too great. Even if Black Demon used the Demon Kill formation, it was impossible for him to defeat the second-level Reverse Beast King. He had no choice but to give up the test. Since you've given up, you can also leave. As he spoke, a large amount of teleportation force appeared above Black Demon's head. It enveloped him and sent him out of the cave. Junior, you're the only one left now. The cave spirit cast its gaze at Yi Chunfeng and said in a deep voice, if you can defeat it, you can embark on the final path of will and train your spiritual beast. If you fail, you'll be like them and leave this place. I'm ready. Let's begin. Not to mention the blood dragon that had evolved by 2/3, just his 600,000 pounds of strength was enough for him to crush a second-level Mystic Beast sect. Buzz. The black-robed man in front of Yi Chunfeng suddenly opened his eyes and shot a sharp gaze at him. Feeling the black-robed man's sharp gaze, Yi Chunfeng wasn't afraid at all. A 1,000-meter-long blood dragon appeared on his body and roared above his head. The terrifying sound waves shook the surroundings. Yes, he got the heavenly soul blood in the corpse tomb. It seems that he really has a glimmer of hope to inherit Master's legacy. Fist shock all directions. While Yi Chunfeng was summoning the blood dragon, the black-robed man's body flashed slightly and turned into an afterimage to approach Yi Chunfeng. He launched 8 powerful punches at Yi Chunfeng in a row. The power was compressed to the extreme, and the terrifying power made Yi Chunfeng feel suffocated. 600,000 pounds of strength explode. Facing the black-robed man's fist shock all directions attack, Yi Chunfeng quickly covered his body with the blood dragon and condensed it into a soul armor. He exploded with 600,000 pounds of strength to meet the attack. His terrifying physical strength completely made up for the difference in cultivation level. Boom, boom, boom. When the fists collided with each other, there was an ear-piercing explosion and sparks flew in all directions. Facing the black-robed man's fist shock all directions head-on, Yi Chunfeng didn't retreat. Instead, he became more and more courageous. The terrifying blood dragon kept increasing his attack power. The 600,000 pounds of strength allowed him to completely suppress the black-robed man's attack. After a round of fierce attacks, Yi Chunfeng, who was protected by the blood dragon, was unharmed. However, the black-robed man, whose cultivation level was much higher than him, had his clothes severely damaged. Cracks were spreading on the surface of his body. Ha! The black-robed man's attack was completely suppressed by Yi Chunfeng. He let out a roar and released a shocking blade shadow from his body. He slashed at Yi Chunfeng. Perfect sword presence break. Yi Chunfeng used his hand as a sword and slashed out a sword shadow that was filled with perfect sword force. The incomparably sharp sword light directly shattered the sword shadow that the black-robed man had slashed down. An endless storm spread around their bodies. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng used shifting shadow and suddenly disappeared in front of the black-robed man. He instantly appeared behind the black-robed man. When the black-robed man sensed danger and instinctively counterattacked, Yi Chunfeng used the collapsing cloud palm and smashed it fiercely on his chest. The black-robed man's chest collapsed, and his body flew out like a kite with a broken string. Collapsing cloud palm. After the first palm strike, Yi Chunfeng used the collapsing cloud palm consecutively. The palm strikes that were filled with 600,000 pounds of strength bombarded the black-robed man continuously. The black-robed man's body was heavily injured, and he was forcefully smashed into the hard spatial wall. He was severely injured. "It's over," Yi Chunfeng roared. The 600,000 pounds of strength and perfect sword presence intertwined together. A fist that was emitting a demonic glow with a long sword tail smashed onto the black-robed man's shattered body in an insufferably arrogant manner. Chapter 236. Junior, you really didn't disappoint me. Now you have the qualifications to attempt the final road of will. As long as you can pass this road of will, then you can inherit the inheritance left behind by Master. After Yi Chunfeng punched the black-robed man to death, the mansion's spirit appeared in front of him, looking at him with a gratified expression. Even the tone of its voice had become filled with emotion. "Senior, can you tell me more about this road of will?" Yi Chunfeng knew that this final road of will wasn't simple at all. He wanted to understand it well before stepping onto it. This road of will is a mystical road that Master spent many years gathering when he was nearing the end of his life. Only the soul can enter. On the road of will, there are a total of 8 soul fires burning. They are the fire of the giant rhinoceros, the fire of the saber-toothed tiger, the fire of the mammoth, the fire of the titan python, the fire of the alligator, the fire of the lightning bird, the fire of the demon ape, and the fire of Master's remnant soul. If you want to reach the end of the road of will, you must extinguish these 8 soul fires. And every time a soul fire is extinguished, the power of will within that soul fire will fuse into your soul beast, increasing its strength. Thus, the benefits of attempting the road of will are self-evident. However, there is a time limit to the path of will. If you are unable to extinguish all 8 soul fires within a year, your soul will become nourishment for the path of will, remaining there forever. Thus, when you step onto the path of will, there is only life or death. Also, before stepping onto the road of will, you have a chance to choose. If you choose to give up, then I will give you a reward. But once you step onto the road of will, there is no turning back. The mansion's spirit explained in detail. "Senior, may I ask how strong the 8 soul fires are? The giant rhinoceros fire has 3 times the strength of your soul. The saber-toothed tiger fire has 4 times the strength of your soul, and finally, Master's remnant soul fire has 10 times the strength of your soul. Thus, the challenge that awaits you will be very severe. Within a year, the chances of you extinguishing all 8 soul fires is only a mere 1%. The mansion's spirit bluntly attacked Yi Chunfeng. "Thank you for your advice, Senior. But I've decided to attempt the road of will." Although Yi Chunfeng felt that the path of will was fraught with dangers, he wholeheartedly pursued the supreme great Tao and possessed an unyielding heart. No matter how great the difficulty was, it wouldn't hinder his progress. Moreover, the path of will was extremely beneficial to him. He wouldn't give up on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. "All right, since you've made up your mind, come with me." With that said, a massive teleportation force appeared beneath Yi Chunfeng's feet. He followed the estate spirit and appeared in a pitch-black space. A 30-meter-long straight road that was engraved with multiplying runes disappeared into the pitch-black space. On this straight road, a faint green and white flame slowly floated. Up ahead is the path of will. Once you have adjusted your condition, you can step onto the path of will at any time. Remember, once you step onto the path of will, your soul will leave your body. You only have 1 year to attempt the path of will. Success or failure will depend on you, the estate spirit said. What a powerful soul force! Standing outside the path of will, Yi Chunfeng could feel that the path of will was flooded with boundless soul force. In particular, that white flame was incomparably strange. "Senior, I wonder if you can allow Nikhang to stay in the cave when I attempt the path of will. I'm afraid that something will happen to her if she leaves." Yi Chunfeng knew that with the temperament of the Black Turtle King and Black Demon, they would never give up. He was afraid that Nikhang would be implicated by him, so he pleaded. "Of course." The estate spirit happily agreed. "Thank you, Senior." Obtaining the protection of the estate spirit, Yi Chunfeng felt relieved. Phew! Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and sat down outside the path of will. He silently adjusted his breathing and adjusted his condition. Around 6 hours later, Yi Chunfeng felt that his soul had reached its peak condition. He took a step forward and stepped onto the path of will. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng's soul involuntarily separated from his body and entered the path of will. I wish you good luck. I hope that you can pass this path of will and inherit the inheritance left behind by Master. This way, Master will be able to rest in peace. What a powerful pressure! Feeling the pressure above the path of will, Yi Chunfeng's soul felt a trace of pressure. Moreover, when he approached the soul fire, he could smell an intense sense of danger. It was as if the soul fire in front of him was the world's fiercest viper, ready to launch a fatal strike at him at any moment. Blood Dragon! With a thought, Yi Chunfeng's soul expanded infinitely, turning into a 1,000-meter-long blood dragon that emitted a powerful dragon's aura. It howled as it appeared beside the soul fire. Awoah! A deafening beastly roar rang out. The first soul fire spewed out endless flames and instantly transformed into an 8-meter-tall unicorn rhinoceros that was burning with raging flames. It roared loudly at the blood dragon. 3 times the soul power. Feeling the soul power of the rhinoceros fire, Yi Chunfeng's blood dragon didn't retreat. It opened its bloody mouth and released endless sound waves that attacked the rhinoceros. Dragons were the top spiritual beasts. Being attacked by the dragon's aura released by the blood dragon, the rhinoceros was slightly affected. However, it didn't retreat and released a powerful sound wave to counterattack fiercely. When the 2 powerful sound waves bombarded together, endless soul light stirred up in the path of will, setting off a storm that pervaded the path of will. Attack! Although 1 year seemed to be enough, Yi Chunfeng knew that this path of will wasn't easy to pass. Without wasting too much time, he controlled the blood dragon to launch the first attack. A bloody light flashed in the path of will. The blood dragon's sharp dragon horn flashed with a demonic light. It collided with the rhinoceros at an extremely fast speed. Boom, boom, boom! A deafening explosion sounded. The blood dragon and the rhinoceros fiercely attacked each other on the path of will, stirring up thousands of waves. Although the rhinoceros' soul power surpassed the blood dragon had merged with the heavenly soul blood and evolved by 2/3. Its terrifying attack power completely made up for the difference in soul power. The 2 soul beasts fought fiercely on the path of will for more than 6 hours. The blood dragon, whose attack and defense were almost perfect, had the absolute advantage and completely suppressed the rhinoceros. Roar! As the blood dragon roared, its huge body quickly twisted and wrapped around the single-horned giant rhino. It opened its bloody mouth and bit the single-horned giant rhino's head. Who? When the rhinoceros was bitten by the blood dragon, its terrifying soul flame suddenly burned, burning the blood dragon and attacking Yi Chunfeng's soul. It made Yi Chunfeng feel as if his soul was being burned by fire. He was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. Bind. Yi Chunfeng endured the excruciating pain in his soul and continued to increase the power of the blood dragon's entanglement. Bit by bit, the single-horned great rhinoceros's huge body was torn apart and turned into white soul flames, which all merged into the blood dragon. Zzz. After merging with the soul flame, the pain in Yi Chunfeng's soul became even stronger. However, the blood dragon's power increased rapidly with the fusion of the soul flame. After experiencing the benefits of merging with the soul flame, Yi Chunfeng relied on his superhuman willpower and endured bitterly. Chapter 237. Phew, I've finally passed the first soul fire. While the blood dragon was fusing with the first soul fire, the second soul fire that was 1,000 meters away lit up. Looking at the second soul fire, Yi Chunfeng discovered that its flames were much more vigorous than the first soul fire. The flames were also twice as big, showing that the soul power it contained was much stronger. Yi Chunfeng stood in place and silently adjusted his breathing for a while, recovering the soul power he had consumed. He slowly walked over and approached the second soul fire. As Yi Chunfeng approached, a violent and tyrannical soul power rushed over. The blazing soul fire instantly transformed into a 10-meter-long saber-toothed tiger with sharp fangs. It roared at Yi Chunfeng. 4 times the soul power. Sensing the soul energy contained in the saber-toothed tiger, the blood dragon roared. It carried a chilling dragon might as it flew over at an extremely fast speed. The saber-toothed tiger's body was already very big, but in front of the blood dragon, the saber-toothed tiger was as small as a kitten. However, its attack power was extremely terrifying. Its sharp tiger claws and sharp teeth constantly damaged the blood dragon's dragon scales and directly attacked Yi Chunfeng's soul. Roar, roar, roar! Although its soul was constantly injured, the blood dragon didn't slow down its attacks. It roared at the sky and fiercely counterattacked, fighting fiercely with the saber-toothed tiger on the path of will. Chi! The saber-toothed tiger's sharp claws tore a hole in the blood dragon's abdomen. The blood dragon's bloody mouth also bit off the saber-toothed tiger's shoulder and swallowed it. When the saber-toothed tiger's shoulder entered the blood dragon's stomach, it immediately turned into a soul fire that burned Yi Chunfeng's soul. However, as it fused with the soul fire, the blood dragon's soul power increased. The saber-toothed tiger's endurance was very terrifying. No matter how much damage its body received, it didn't reduce its fierce attack. The dragon and tiger fought fiercely on the path of will for 3 days and 3 nights. Its huge body was full of scars. If it wasn't for Yi Chunfeng's extraordinary willpower, he wouldn't have been able to endure such a high consumption of soul power. Devour! Finally, the severely injured saber-toothed tiger could no longer withstand the waves of ferocious attacks from the blood dragon. Its broken body was torn apart by the blood dragon's sharp claws, turning into scorching soul flames that merged with the blood dragon. The saber-toothed tiger's soul flame was far stronger than the unicorn rhinoceros. Yi Chunfeng's soul was in much greater pain, but he held on bitterly. However, as the saber-toothed tiger's fire completely fused with the blood dragon's huge body expanded by another 100 meters. The king ancient pattern on its forehead became even clearer. Phew, the second soul fire extinguished in 3 days. I wonder how long it will take to extinguish the third soul fire. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and adjusted his breathing for a while before continuing forward. He approached the third mammoth flame that emitted a light as bright as day. They were fighting fiercely with the mammoth that was more than 50 meters tall and was like a small mountain that was filled with destructive power. At the same time, the Black Tortoise King, who had failed the test and was teleported out of the underwater cave by the mansion spirit, met the black demon at the bottom of the trench. What? You also failed? The Black Tortoise King opened its round eyes and looked at the black demon with a cold expression. It was impossible to guess what the black demon was thinking. For you and me, that test was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. I have a feeling that the mansion spirit is deliberately making things difficult for us. Its goal is to let Yi Chunfeng obtain the inheritance of this cave, the black demon said gloomily. You and I are both stronger than Yi Chunfeng. Why did the mansion spirit choose him to be the successor of this cave? The Black Tortoise King said unwillingly. It had a feeling deep in its heart that if it could obtain the inheritance of the cave, it would definitely be able to transform into a powerful holy beast. It would be able to pass the second lightning tribulation and ascend to the illusory heaven domain. I think that Yi Chunfeng must have obtained something in that mysterious tomb and obtained the approval of the mansion spirit. Thinking of that huge ancient tomb, the black demon guessed that the treasure in that ancient tomb was extremely precious. Damn it! If I knew that kid's luck was so good, we would have killed him at all costs, the Black Tortoise King said in a muffled voice. Its voice was full of regret. Actually, it's not a bad thing for him to obtain the inheritance of the underwater cave. As long as you and I guard this place, we won't be afraid of him running away, the black demon said viciously. After we kill him, everything on him will be ours. Yes, let's guard this place well. We can't let him run away. The Black Tortoise King nodded and hid at the entrance of the underwater cave with the black demon, waiting for Yi Chunfeng to appear. Strong. Too strong. This fire of the mammoth is too strong. The blood dragon and the mammoth fought fiercely for 5 days and 5 nights, but there was still no clear winner. After 5 days and 5 nights of fierce fighting, the blood dragon was riddled with wounds. Its dragon scales were severely damaged, but the mammoth was getting braver as it fought. Its fierce impact constantly knocked the blood dragon's huge body away. Perfect sword form. The blood dragon's power alone couldn't kill the mammoth. Yi Chunfeng's soul spewed out a perfect sword form. It shot out from the blood dragon's bloody mouth and quickly attacked the mammoth's huge body. The perfect sword form's attack power was very sharp, and it was very damaging to the soul. Yi Chunfeng dared to go on the path of will because he relied on the perfect sword form's attack power. The berserk mammoth was attacked by the blood dragon's perfect sword attack. Its huge body was immediately riddled with holes. Waves of scorching white flames burned fiercely, burning the air and making sizzling sounds. The mammoth roared. Its soul flame burned fiercely. Its huge body suddenly accelerated, crushing the wounded blood dragon at an extremely fast speed. Perfect sword form, sword light vortex. The mammoth crushed over with a terrifying impact. The endless sword form continued to surge. The blood dragon's huge body formed a high-speed vortex of sword light. It engulfed the mammoth's huge body and crazily killed it. Soon, the mammoth's huge body was crushed by the perfect sword form. The ferocious soul flame surged into the blood dragon's wounded body, tempering Yi Chunfeng's soul. After the tempering of the third mammoth fire, Yi Chunfeng's soul increased a lot. His willpower was even stronger. The blood dragon had also evolved by 4/5. It would soon evolve into a blood dragon king. Once the blood dragon evolved into a blood dragon king, Yi Chunfeng's chances of passing the path of will would increase greatly. After about 4 hours, Yi Chunfeng's soul completely merged with the mammoth fire. His soul had increased by more than 2 times. The blood dragon had also become even more terrifying. However, when Yi Chunfeng continued to advance and approached the 4th ball of Titan Python fire, his sharp soul detected a terrifying and dangerous aura in the Titan Python fire. At the next moment, the scorching flames turned into a Titan Python that was hundreds of meters long. It released a majestic soul flame power and repulsed the blood dragon in midair. When the blood dragon and the Titan Python fought fiercely, Yi Chunfeng felt immense pressure. The blood dragon's attack was completely suppressed. Even if Yi Chunfeng used his perfect sword form, he couldn't turn the situation around. Hiss! The Titan Python hissed. Its tail that was filled with destructive power whipped the blood dragon's huge body. The terrifying soul power directly smashed the blood dragon's huge body. At the next moment, the Titan Python's bloody mouth kept expanding. It bit the blood dragon's neck. Yi Chunfeng watched as the Titan Python's sharp fangs pierced the blood dragon's neck. A heart-wrenching pain was transmitted to his soul. Chapter 238. No. I haven't finished walking my own path. I can't die. Death was getting closer and closer. Yi Chunfeng, who was about to be annihilated, let out an unyielding roar. The past kept flashing through his soul. It was as if he had finished his short life in an instant, and his fragile soul began to shatter. On the line between life and death, death is reborn. Life is destroyed and death is reborn. Without life, how can there be death? Without death, how can there be life? Only by being fearless can one see through life and death. The moment Yi Chunfeng's soul was destroyed, a loud voice rang out in his mind, pulling him back from the brink of death and gradually recovering his consciousness. The God-Eater Brain. It's the voice from the God-Eater Brain. Destruction often starts with oneself. I gave up just now, so I'm on the verge of death. If I can protect my heart, neither the heavens nor the great Tao can kill me. Whoever dares to stop me will destroy the heavens and the great Tao." At that moment, Yi Qinfeng's soul was completely healed. A terrifying wave of soul power surged out, and the dying blood dragon was restored to its original state. An unparalleled amount of soul power erupted, and it directly sent the Titan python coiling around its enormous body flying. Perfect sword force, transform into the power of the great Tao. The perfect sword force erupted from Yi Qinfeng's soul, transforming into a wisp of the power of the great Tao. It cut open a long and narrow crack in the chaotic space and bombarded the Titan python's head with great force. Ka-cha-cha! The Titan python's head was attacked by the power of the great Tao derived from the perfect sword force and directly exploded. Following that, its neck, 7 inches, and body began to crack inch by inch. Soon, the huge body of the Titan python, which was hundreds of meters long, shattered and turned into a soul fire that burned the world. It surged into Yi Qinfeng's soul. Refine. After fusing with the soul fire formed by the Titan python, the blood dragon's huge body spun and turned into a soul vortex, frantically refining the soul fire formed by the Titan python. About a day later, the tortured Yi Qinfeng's soul fused with the soul fire. His will of soul became extremely strong, and the blood dragon also underwent a qualitative change. Roar! A terrifying dragon roar reverberated through the heavens and earth, shaking the surroundings. After fusing with the Titan python fire, the blood dragon had finally completed its second evolution, evolving into the Blood Dragon King. Its enormous body grew to 2,000 meters, and its blood-red dragon scales became incomparably hard. The king, ancient rune on its forehead exuded boundless dragon might, greatly increasing the blood dragon's power. It could be said that the soul power contained in the Blood Dragon King had reached the standard of a typical level 6 mystic beast sect expert. More importantly, the blood dragon had completed its second evolution and transformed into the Blood Dragon King, allowing Yi Qinfeng to possess the ability that only emperors could grasp: the beast soul form. The beast soul form of a human was the same as the beast soul form of a demonic beast. Both could greatly increase one's combat strength. After mastering the beast soul form, Yi Qinfeng would be able to completely merge with the blood dragon in future battles. He would be able to change his physical form and possess all of the blood dragon's power. With my current soul power, I should be able to break through this path of will. With the evolution of the blood dragon, Yi Qinfeng felt that his soul power had increased by dozens of times. His battle intent had reached its peak as he quickly appeared beside the fifth fire of the Overlord Crocodile. Roar! The Blood Dragon King that Yi Qinfeng's soul transformed into approached, and the fire of the Overlord Crocodile let out a ferocious roar. The Overlord Crocodile's body was a few hundred meters long, and its mouth was 100 meters long. Its black skin was as hard as steel. It opened its bloody mouth and bit at the Blood Dragon King, engaging in an intense battle with it on the path of will. The soul power contained in the Blood Dragon King was far from what the Blood Dragon could compare to. During the intense battle with the Overlord Crocodile, the Blood Dragon King with the King Ancient rune on its forehead had the absolute advantage. Its sharp dragon claws constantly broke through the Overlord Crocodile's defenses. The Overlord Crocodile was able to crush the mouth of a mystic beast sect expert, but it couldn't break through the Blood Dragon King's dragon scales. Roar! As the Blood Dragon King roared, the King Ancient rune released a terrifying pressure that intimidated the Overlord Crocodile. Following which, the Blood Dragon King opened its bloody mouth and bit the Overlord Crocodile's neck, directly tearing its body apart. The Overlord Crocodile's huge body was torn apart by the Blood Dragon King and immediately turned into scorching soul fire. It fused into the Blood Dragon King's huge body, tempering its body and increasing its soul power. Such fast speed! In less than half a month, he actually extinguished the fifth Overlord Crocodile's fire and started to challenge the sixth Lightning Bird's fire. The mansion spirit saw the scene of Yi Qinfeng extinguishing 5 soul fires step by step, and it valued him even more. Maybe he can really pass the path of will and inherit Master's legacy. The further one went on the path of will, the more terrifying the soul fires were. When Yi Qinfeng challenged the Lightning Bird's fire, he fell into a bitter battle once again. The Lightning Bird's lightning-fast attack made the Blood Dragon King's attacks helpless. However, the lightning attacks released by the Lightning Bird kept damaging the Blood Dragon King's body. Beast Soul Form. His attacks were completely restrained by the Lightning Bird. Yi Qinfeng roared and fused his soul with the Blood Dragon King. For the first time, he transformed into a half-human, half-beast soul form. A large amount of blood-red dragon scales covered his entire body, increasing his defense. A ferocious dragon head appeared on his chest, greatly increasing his attack power. The word "King" was faintly discernible on Yi Qinfeng's forehead, emitting a dragon's might that could make one's liver and guts shatter. Screech. When the Lightning Bird saw Yi Qinfeng transform into a beast soul form, it let out a long screech and flew over without showing any signs of weakness. Endless lightning poured out of its body and bombarded Yi Qinfeng like a tide. Perfected sword force, great Tao power. Facing the violent lightning attack released by the Lightning Bird, Yi Qinfeng, who was in his beast soul form, didn't dodge. Perfected sword force gushed out of his body and forcefully deduced the terrifying great Tao power to meet the attack. Rumble, the two terrifying attacks collided, and an earth-shattering explosive force instantly erupted, surging in all directions. Although the violent lightning released by the Lightning Bird was extremely terrifying and was enough to kill a level 6 Mystic Beast Sect expert, the great Tao power deduced from the perfected sword force was even more terrifying. In 2 breaths, the great Tao power tore apart the endless violent lightning and fiercely bombarded the Lightning Bird, which couldn't dodge in time, piercing through its body. Bang! The Lightning Bird's huge body shattered and turned into a soul fire that could burn heaven and earth. It fused into Yi Qinfeng's body and continued to increase the Blood Dragon King's soul power. One day, he only used 1 day to extinguish the Lightning Bird's fire. A spiritual beast that has evolved twice is indeed terrifying. Through the path of will, the mansion spirit witnessed Yi Qinfeng deducing the great Tao power and killing the Lightning Bird. He revealed a deep look of horror. Roar. After a day, Yi Qinfeng's body inherited a high-pitched dragon roar. Yi Qinfeng's soul fused with the Lightning Bird's fire, and the blood dragon became stronger. The dragon head became bigger, and the dragon's aura became stronger. Phew, there are still 2 soul fires left. The remaining time should be enough. Yi Qinfeng, who was in the form of a beast soul, took a deep breath and looked into the distance. The devil ape fire was burning fiercely, illuminating the dark path of will, and directly flew over. The soul power contained in the devil ape fire could be said to be more than the sum of the other 6 soul fires. In addition to the innate violent skills of the devil ape, it caused great trouble for Yi Qinfeng for a time. Fortunately, the Blood Dragon King was constantly transforming, and its soul power was very abundant. Yi Qinfeng had experienced a life-and-death test, and his willpower was incomparably firm. In addition to the astonishing increase in combat power in the form of a beast soul and the terrifying destructive perfected sword force, Yi Qinfeng didn't fall into a disadvantage in the fierce battle with the devil ape fire. 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, 10 days, Yi Qinfeng fought bitterly with the devil ape fire for 13 days. Finally, with his unyielding willpower and high combat power, he extinguished the 7th devil ape fire. After fusing with the devil ape fire, the blood dragon's huge body grew to 2,500 meters, and its soul power was enough to crush any spiritual beast of the mystic beast sect.